All right, we are live here on this late day, 4th of July stream. This would have happened yesterday if I didn't have to work. But I had to work, last night, so it didn't happen. And right away, we got Metal Douchebag Mike. I did it again. I did it again, man. Metal Douchebag Mike. Metal Douche Mike in the chat room. Saying, yep, first in chat. Check out that live rock and Sabbath gig. It's with Ward on drums, with Martin, Iommi, and Butler. Bill does a solid job playing Headless Cross. Gonna have to check that one out. I never actually knew Bill Ward had involvement like around that time. Yeah, Master of Insanity is an excellent track. But anyways, welcome to the stream. That's right. It is Monday night, obviously. And why not do a stream, right? But anyways, yeah. Speaking of which, I just woke up like freaking 2 hours ago, man. Like, since I work third shift, my sleeping schedule was real weird. I'll come home from work, man, stay up till like noon. Like today, I stayed up till 3. And I started feeling drowsy, and I took a nap or whatever you want to call it. Yep, got the message, man. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, but anyways, yes. So yeah, like I said before, my schedule was definitely off. I mean, like a lot of people would be getting ready to probably go to bed at this time. And here I am up. But it is what it is, right? Finally got the Halloween album review done today. I was going to do it yesterday, actually, and I was just too tired. But yeah, that's pretty much what's up. Anything else going on? Well, let's switch topics a little bit here, I guess. I just saw Del Wilkes passed away. Now, anybody that's a wrestling fan from back in the day might know who Del Wilkes is. He was the Patriot. He was in the beginnings of the Attitude Era. I saw he passed away from a heart attack here the other day. It's just amazing, man. I mean, it's sad, though. It's real sad because a lot of the wrestlers I liked when I was watching wrestling growing up, man, a lot of them are passing away and dying off. And it freaking sucks, dude. 1999 to 2004, huh? Well, there's a lot of underrated albums, I think, in every year, to be honest. Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with my review on the Halloween album. But it is what it is. I honestly think right now it's probably the best album they've done. I mean, that's just my opinion. Now, Walls of Jericho is still my favorite album. Like, eventually I'm going to rank all the Halloween albums. That's one ranking I haven't done yet. All right, we got 9496 Tall in the house, another old school rocker and heavy metal fan, and one of my old subscribers here on the channel, man. So welcome to the stream, dude. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for dropping by, bro. All right. If you want to join in, I'll let you in. But yeah, that's a little bit of wrestling news. Del Wilkes passed away, the Patriot. You know, Like me, when it comes to wrestling, I don't watch wrestling anymore. I think wrestling sucks nowadays. I think it's actually sucked for the last 10 years or longer. But yeah. And I normally don't talk about wrestling here on the channel just due to the fact I'm not into it no more. Now, you talk about the old days back in the Attitude Era, back in the 80s, I'll talk about that anytime. See, that's how I'm feeling right now myself. That the new album is the best thing they've done. You know, I mean, like I said, it's controversial because I know people are not going to have that opinion. And I think for me, it boils down to a lot of people love those classics, obviously. I just feel like this album outdid the Keeper of the Seven Keys albums. Because when I go back and listen to those albums, and they're great albums, don't get me wrong. But let's take Keeper of the Seven Keys 2, for example. There's definitely a filler track on that album. Like the track Rise and Fall, I cannot stand that track from that album. The rest of the album's good. Favorite Undertaker match, holy cow. For me, oh man, there's a lot of them. Well, I think, when it comes to The Undertaker, definitely his matches against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 and 26. His match against Edge at 24, really good stuff. I mean, he's had classic matches against Triple H. WrestleMania 17 being my favorite that he had with Triple H. I mean, early on, I'm going like way back when here. He had a feud with the Ultimate Warrior, which some might have forgotten about, where he locked the Ultimate Warrior in a casket. Now, it never went as far as like a pay per view match, or anything like that, because Warrior was out of the company after SummerSlam 91 because of that, hold up he did at the time for more money. Okay, I'll send the StreamYard link here in a minute. You know, Not sure how long I'll keep this stream going. Let's see, another Taker match I like would be him against Kane back in the Attitude Era in the Inferno match. I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of Taker matches I can name off. How about his 2002 match with Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell? I'm not talking about the garbage match they had at WrestleMania 30. That match was complete garbage. You know. Oh yeah, Taker versus Jeff Hardy. That was a freaking awesome match. I'll tell you what, man. That's where Undertaker paid respect to Jeff Hardy for being a tough son of a bitch in the ring. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, man, Taker's had a lot of memorable, great matches, throughout his career. You know, oh yeah, man, Taker and Mankind had a lot of great matches. It's kind of weird, man. Back in '98, actually almost went to the King of the Ring that year, where Taker and Mankind battled in that Hell in a Cell match where Mick Foley almost got killed in that match. I actually almost went to that, but at the time, I didn't have the money, didn't have a car yet, and that's what it is. I mean, back then I was only 19 years old. But anyway, yeah. But as far as today's wrestling product, like I said, I cannot get into it. It don't interest me, and that's that. And I think John Cena absolutely sucks. There you go. Yeah, I don't really know what to think of that. Like, to me, the Cactus Jack character was so good in ECW, WCW, you know. I mean, my goodness, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack had those classic matches against freaking Terry Funk in those death matches, you know. Definitely a guy that put his body on the line, man. That's for sure. But yeah, man. It looks like we got 6 people watching. I mean, yeah, Dude Love was a pretty funny character, man. I still remember that episode of Raw from way back when where it's pretty cool how they shot it too. Where Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and Dude Love interviewed each other. Oh man. I'll let you in here. Let me send the link. So yeah, man, I hope everybody had a killer 4th of July. Like I said, I was working yesterday, and that's pretty much it. Making money, man, making money. You know. And that's pretty much what's going on. Yeah, man. So the next review I plan on doing is for the new Flotsam and Jetsam album, and I want to get the actual CD to review it. Our record shop has not had it, so I'm probably gonna have to order it on eBay or Amazon. Well, I don't really mess with Amazon much, but I'm probably gonna have to order it online. So, and I'm sitting here thinking about album rankings too. Like I feel like a lot of people do the same album rankings on YouTube, and like I was looking up Gamma Ray. There's no album rankings on Gamma Ray, and I'm thinking about actually doing it. Gamma Ray, I think, is equally as important as Halloween when it comes to power metal because it has Kai Hansen in it. I don't think I've ever seen album rankings on Primal Fear. I mean, there's a million bands I have not seen album rankings on yet here on YouTube. It's usually the same: Metallica, Death, Megadeth, AC/DC, Kiss. You know, nothing against that because I've already did album rankings on a few of those bands, and I do actually intend to do AC/DC. You know, so it's really nothing against people that stick with one formula. It's just there's so many other bands that have albums out that I don't think get touched upon. But anyways, I'm gonna let Metal Douchebag Mike in the stream.
What's up? Hey guys.
Well, to the stream, man.
Yep.
What's up?
Wearing my Avenged Sevenfold shirt. That's all I can find at the moment.
There you go.
So I have some good news.
Good old Gene on today.
Yeah. I saw the Kiss documentary again. Gene's full of shit.
I haven't watched it yet. I do
It's
think I'm gonna actually check it out.
I have tickets for the. I'm going to see my first Judas Priest show ever.
Oh yeah,
September 8th, Reading, PA, Santander Center. Judas Priest and
nice.
Sabaton are playing together. Well, Sabaton's opening
Judas.
for Priest, and
Oh
then Judas
okay.
Priest will be doing their first show in PA in September. So
You said it's in September.
it's Wednesday, September 8th.
Hmm. I might have to try to get a ticket for that.
My uncle got me like 4 tickets. Me, him, and my cousins are going. He's my
Hmm.
hookup for concerts.
Nice. There you go, man.
So
Yeah, man. It'd be cool to see Judas Priest again. And
yeah,
yeah, man.
me and Ryan, we were talking about albums from '99 to '04.
I mean, yeah, there's some underrated albums in those years. Like, let's see, in 1999, what came out in '99? To Nevermore Dreaming Neon Black. Obviously, the self-titled Slipknot album.
Hmm. We had Still Life by Opeth.
Still Like Bio came out that year. Testament to Gathering,
Yeah,
or was
man.
that '98? I'm thinking that was actually '90. No, no, no. What's '99?
It's
Okay,
'99.
that's a fucking killer album.
Metropolis Part 2 by Dream Theater.
Yep, that's true too. Another great album. And Iced Earth Alive in Athens, one of the greatest live albums ever, man.
Sadly, I had a Limp Bizkit album in '99.
Oh yeah, that's all. I remember it was all over the place. I only did it for the nookie. The nookie, and you can take that cookie and stick it up your ass, Fred Durst.
Hate Breed by Children of Bodom came out that year.
Yeah, that's right. That's the very first Children of Bodom album I ever heard, actually.
Sorry, I had to
Around
turn
that
the
time.
AC up. Yeah, we're getting another heat wave again, sadly. Three.
Yeah, I had to crank up my air conditioner too. It started to get freaking hot again.
You ever heard of
But
the
yeah,
band Static X? I've been checking them out recently.
Wisconsin Death Trip that came out in '99. I think I
Yeah,
still have it on CD too.
we did a live stream earlier. Well, not a live stream, but a live chat earlier with Xavier and Ryan. We were talking
Yeah,
about porno grind. Surprisingly, that was the topic that came up.
it
There's
exists.
a, there's a band called Cock and Ball Torture.
Cock and Ball Torture. I've heard of them.
Hmm.
Cock and Ball Torture. What a band name. Oh yeah, yeah. Porno grind. Oh cripe.
Cannibal Corpse
Um,
Bloodthirst. That's a fucking good album.
yeah, yeah. Cannibal Corpse Bloodthirst came out in '99. I'm trying to think what else came out. I think it's Slaved had an album out that year.
Hmm.
Was it Monumentum? I can't remember now.
I say the best releases for metal albums consistently in the last few decades. I'm going to say '99 to '05, like '06, was just a good, solid chunk of years for metal in general.
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff that came out in that period now that it's kind of been
Mhm.
forgotten about. Like, oh man,
Because in the year
like you got
2000, we had the Maiden, the rebirth of Iron
two,
Maiden, Bruce.
2000 was a big year.
You had another Children of Bodom album, follow with the Reaper.
Follow the Reaper, great album.
Then there's a band, and then there's bands people never remember. They were one trick, either they were one trick ponies or they were short metal bands that didn't
Hmm.
last too long. Like
Right.
there's an album called Clayman by a band In Flames. You heard of
Yep.
them?
Yep, I have it. I bought it back when it came out, actually.
This is the
Speaking of
year.
which, that's right. In Flames had Colony out in 1999. also.
And in the year
But yeah,
2000,
Clayman Band Plant. Go ahead.
there's an album, I think a band called Electric Wizard. You heard of them?
Yeah, Dope
And see
Throne.
that- Yeah,
I have that too. That's a great album.
Black Seal of Vengeance by Nile. Another album from
Oh
that.
yeah, that's the first. That's the very first Nile CD I ever bought. Right when it came out.
Hmm.
Man, that freaking album, man, such a killer album.
Instead, the 2000, we got the final Pantera album.
Reinventing the Still. Yeah, unfortunately. You had Halford
Resurrection.
with Resurrection. Yep, which was a
LD50
killer.
Mudvayne.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Mudvayne fan.
Yeah,
I know people. I know there's people that like
2000's
it.
debut, The Sickness by Disturbed, which for a reason was popular for that album. It was kind of popular.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I bought it at the time.
Close
I
to a
bought it.
World by Immortal.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Any other bands from the 2000s? From like '01
Let's
to
see.
'02, you remember? From like '0 to '02?
Let's see. In '02, you had. I'm trying to think here in '02. Nile had in their darkest shrines in '02. Oh boy, Meshuggah had. Yeah, Meshuggah put out nothing in 2002.
You had The Art of
Mm,
Balance, Shadows Fall.
The Art of Balance by Shadows Fall, which I did buy that at the time.
Deliverance, Opeth,
Yep, yep,
Oceanic Isis,
yep,
The Mantle, Agaloth.
yep. Trying to think. Soil Work, Natural Born Chaos came out in 2002.
Killing the Dragon by Dio.
Yep, Killing the Dragon by Dio.
That's
Yep,
that album was kind of a return to albums like Holy Diver, Last in Line, sort of,
a little bit.
you know.
Even with a little bit of a rainbow influence on a
Mhm.
couple tracks.
I think they did a couple DVDs for that tour. I believe there's a couple DVDs for that tour.
I think you're right. In fact, yeah, there is, when I think about it.
There's a band called Decapitation, an album called Nility.
Yep. Speaking of which, I think their first album came out in 2000, Decapitated. I forget what it's called, though. Because at the time, they were only 15 years old when they put out their first album. Well, the band members were.
I remember hearing my mom. True story. My mom was never a metalhead, but her first metal album that scared her to death. True story. Was a band called Rotting Christ. That scared her to death.
I've heard of them, yeah. They got a bunch of albums out. Gotta be honest, I've never really delved into a lot of their albums, though. I know who they are.
Six
Don't get
Degrees
me
of
wrong.
Inner
But
Turbulence. I don't know if that was Portnoy's last album on drums.
which album?
6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence.
No.
No.
The last album he did on drums was Black Lines and Silver Tongues. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Man, there's a lot of good albums that just came out around that time. Then as like you get into the late 2000s, 2010s, there's kind of a dip.
See, that's what I think. I don't have much memory of a lot of things that came out in that time period.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a lot of strong albums, in my opinion. Maybe it's because metal was changing a little bit and I couldn't adapt to a lot of it.
Yeah, because in '03 we had Dance of Death.
Yeah.
And you had another Children of Bodom album. They're kind of big.
All right. We've got Ryan Arnold in the chat.
What's up, Ryan?
Mr. Damage Incorporated himself.
You want to come
What's
join
going
in?
on, man? Yeah, I'm just sitting here trying to think back to the early 2000s now and all the shit that came out.
Because a lot of it's
Um,
forgotten about.
There is a lot of things forgotten about. Even I'm kind of slipping up here because I was listening to a bunch of stuff in that period.
We got a Typo Negative album in '03. I think Life is Kill Me.
Life is killing me. Yes, that's
Yes.
yep.
Had a Lamb of God album that year.
As the Palace Burnt, I think came out that year.
Train of Thought by Dream Theater in '03.
Probably Dream Theater's heaviest album,
Mm-hmm.
easily. That's kind of like their Master of Puppets, because I think they were actually influenced by Master of Puppets when they did the Train of Thought album.
Then
You
you
can
had
kind of tell.
Overkill 13.
Oh yeah, man, there's a bunch of Overkill albums back in the 2000s. Killbox 13, yep, great album. Opeth Damnation, Strapping
Sadly,
Young Lad came back that year with the self-titled.
hate to say it, Saint Anger came out that year.
Unfortunately, yeah. Saint Anger.
As my dad called it, Saint Shitter.
Shit, or Saint Shitter, there you go. That's a good one. Saint Shitter. Definitely a good one.
Because my dad was a huge Metallica fan up until '03. Then he stopped.
Yeah.
'Cause in his mind, he said that the band kind of sold out. That's what he kind of said in his mind. He said the band sold out to the fans. And
Right. Yeah. It's been debated for years. I've heard it all when it comes to Metallica. It's like like me, I got into Metallica back when And Justice for All was coming out.
same.
Even though Master of Puppets was the first one I heard. So
Mr.
when the Black Album first came out, I've already told this story a million fucking times. Yeah, when the Black Album first came out, I hated it. I absolutely hated it back in 1991. But then again, I was only 13. Everything to me had to be fast and just brutal and heavy at the
I
time.
I disagree with Mr. Ryan Arnold on Master of Puppets. I think the album before Master is a masterpiece in my opinion. I think Ride the Lightning's a masterpiece.
I agree.
Think that Master of Puppets is a tad bit too long, and the album after that is a lot heavier.
Yeah, it's debatable. Like to me, I think Ride the Lightning's the best Metallica album too. So
I'll put that.
easily the best. It's
hate
kind of weird, man.
I don't
It's
see
kind of
how
weird too. Over the
people love
last
the Black Album. I hate that album. I hate that album
what the
more
Black
than
Album?
Yeah, kind of like has like a poppy vibe to it in Metallica.
Yeah, they definitely changed on that album, big time.
I was
There's,
I was watching.
still a couple.
Sorry,
There's still a couple cool tracks. There's still a couple cool tracks on that album.
Through the Never.
It's an album. It's an album I don't really listen to much anymore because I've heard it so many freaking times.
Well, Ryan, of
All
course
right.
you can join, man.
I'm gonna send him a link.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we were talking about the Black Album. There are demos of the Black Album dating back to the tour for And Justice for All. So,
There are.
and I think originally, the original plans for the Black Album, it was originally going to be heavier than the last album, but I don't know what the band decided to change their sound, or
See, I really don't know. I know on the demos some of the structures are a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the Black Album demos before. I mean, I've heard them quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the structures like Sad but True's a little faster on the
Mm-hmm.
demo. Speaking of which, the Black Album's being reissued as a big package, kind of like what they did with the first four Metallica albums. I will get that because it's going to be loaded with shit.
Is it a
There's so much
remaster?
stuff.
The
Well,
thing with yeah.
yeah, it's a box set though, kind of like how they did the first four Metallica albums, where they added a whole bunch of fucking demos, lyric sheets, vinyls, rehearsal tapes. It's gonna be like that.
I was reading originally Cliff was originally going to be on that and Justice album.
Well, yeah, and then
What's up? What's up?
there he is.
If he saw our conversation we were talking about earlier.
I just saw y'all's conversation about the Black Album.
Yeah, we're talking about the Black Album.
I get the box set in a heartbeat.
I'm getting that box set definitely. It's gonna be
The bo-
freaking loaded.
The box set I'm saving money for is the Sabotage box set by Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah,
that
I want to get that
supposedly
too.
has the live 1975 Ashbury Park CDs, apparently. So, remastered,
Yeah.
retaped, remastered. They fixed, from what I was reading, Tony Iommi fixed up a lot of the clunkiness and stuff and cleaned it up. Just for the live thing. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I want to get it. I did see that. I definitely want to get it.
and you know what's funny?
Sabotage.
Tony Iommi said he found the master tapes for Born Again.
I saw
I
that
want-
too.
Yeah.
Now that I will get.
I'm wondering if he finds the masters with Cozy Powell for Dehumanizer and releases those.
He
Imagine
probably
that.
has them. I mean, I think he would have them. Well, there's a version of, or there's demos of Dehumanizer with Tony Martin on vocals.
Mhm.
You know, I would definitely like to hear what those sound like.
Who was on the bass?
Geezer.
Oh,
Geezer
So
was on
Geezer
bass. Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
I
Geezer
guess
on bass.
But then I guess all of that ended up
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah,
and then
Tony Martin
Dio
left.
and-
Cozy Powell stayed. Did some sessions with Dio. They didn't get along. No. And Cozy fell, broke his pelvis. Is what it says, and
Damn.
they couldn't do the album with Cozy. So,
Wow.
Right. It's pretty much it, man.
and then it's
Damn.
weird because you know you
Yeah.
look at you look at Sabbath and you're thinking what albums would have demos, interesting ones.
There's
I would
plenty
say
of
Born
them, I'm
Again.
sure.
Born Again would be one of them.
Yeah.
I'd love to know if there are demos of the Eternal Idol and Tear. That would be pretty cool.
Actually, there are.
Imagine if there's like demo sound recordings Forbidden. That sounds better than the album.
Could be. But no, there is a version of Eternal Idol out there with the demos. It has Ray Gillen on vocals.
Yeah.
Ben, you
Yep,
said
yep.
something about AC/DC. I missed that part.
Oh, I was talking about album rankings for a little bit, like how. Well, I was thinking of different album rankings that should be done.
AC/DC, yeah, that would be a fun one.
Well,
Either way, Ben,
Definitely.
it probably won't be on the channel because obviously this guy right here will be at some point doing the AC/DC retrospective.
I'm doing a retrospective, not an
Yep.
album ranking.
So
that's
that,
gonna be
it'll
the
have
end
to
of the
wait
year.
it'll have to wait for a while.
It's going to be
At
towards
very
the end of the
least.
year, like around Christmas time. As a little
Yes.
no, no, I was going on, or I was just looking around on YouTube for. I was just typing in different bands to see if there's, retrospectives, album reviews. And it's like this. the bands that pop up are like the bands everybody does, like Metallica, Kiss, Iron Maiden, Judas
Yeah,
Priest.
yeah.
I mean, I've done them
Sometimes you
too.
gotta.
Don't get me wrong. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't do
sometimes
Kiss
you gotta
yet.
do the. Sometimes you gotta do the obvious before you go and do those that people never heard of.
Yeah.
It gets
How
you
far is
established.
your Scorpions thing coming along?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Jesus! I haven't even started on it yet. I got to
Yeah.
get through dude. I got to get through the Pantera first. You have no clue how hard it is to do retrospectives.
It's hard.
Not
It takes a
really.
lot of
It
freaking work.
sometimes it's
Well,
I
the
did
yeah.
way I
the
do it takes
I did the
work.
Buster Brown one. That was a flop for me. I'm just gonna leave it up there. It's like, I'll learn from
You
it.
can do another version of it at some point.
I'll do another version of it down the line at some point.
Right.
Yeah, but that's still got to be taken care of. Hopefully soon.
But yeah, Ryan, did you hear the news? I'm going to see Judas Priest and Sabaton.
Yeah,
My
I heard
very
about
first
that.
ever show for both bands. So,
Yeah,
I'm
you told me
wondering
about
how
that.
they're going to sound live for this anniversary tour.
50th anniversary. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Question is, I wonder what the set list is going to be live.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of the classics. Obviously. It'll be cool though.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, Rob Halford turns 70 years old next month.
Hey, Ron C.
And
yeah.
next month, the KK Priest album comes out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be getting that.
I put a hold on new albums Wednesday this week.
So yeah, September's going to be the only time they're going to be in PA again until like November.
October they'll be in San Antonio, both bands.
Yeah.
All right, we
That'll
got
be
Reen.
awesome.
We got Reen C here. Never
So,
know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
What's up,
But welcome to the stream, my man.
Mhm. Just
Yeah.
writing down notes on some bands that I can listen to.
Yeah.
Well,
So, Ryan, how do you feel about the band Evanescence? Throwing you under the bus.
I can't stand Amy Lee. I think Amy Lee's a bitch. That's just my opinion of her. I don't like her.
Same. The Evil Eyes in 03 by Alice Cooper. We're still in 2003. I forgot we were talking about that.
Speed
I like the
King
new-
in the chat. What's
Speed
up?
King.
Yes,
What's
we
up?
got Speed King here. Yes. We had a cool 4th of July, even though I worked. It's
Nice.
still good.
I spent my 4th of July at Costco. Story. They had fireworks in the Costco parking lot, and they gave away free hot dogs. I kid you not.
Nice.
Nice.
Hey, what the hell? Can't beat it.
Free food.
Shit, man. I was gonna say something. I lost my train of thought now. It'll come back to me here,
Yeah.
So,
eventually.
Ryan,
I'm still trying to wake up, actually.
what bands do you remember from 04? I know you already talked about it before, but
What, from 2004?
Yeah. Y'all were talking about those bands who would put out stuff. 2004. Trying to look and see what out of everything, because I do have a bunch of CDs here from I think around those times. Shoot, I don't even know if I have anything in here that's.
yeah,
from
what does everyone
04.
else think in chat from 04?
Is this one from 04?
Exodus, Tempo of the Damned, the comeback album by Exodus.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Then you had
Leviathan.
Death
Yeah.
Angel, Art of Dying, their comeback album.
Ashes of Wake by Lamb of God.
Yeah,
Leviathan by Mastodon. The System Has Failed by Megadeth.
oh yeah, that's true too. Yep,
Inferno by Motorhead. I forgot
that's a
Motorhead
damn
album.
good album. That's a heavy Motorhead album.
Demigod by Behemoth. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I got
Or,
anything in this CD.
let's see,
in that CD
Evergrey.
binder that I have from 04.
Ever-
I'm trying to remember what other one. Oh
Go ahead.
yeah, was it? Wait, is this from 04?
Oh, I was just reading Speaking's comment. His introduction to Metalben.
No, this was from 2003. Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Saint Anger is from 03.
Saint Shitter. Yeah, but Metal Deuce Mike came up with that name.
Saint Shitter.
It's not bad.
The Glorious by Ice Earth. I finally listened to that band album. And the band.
Yeah.
Oh, the Glorious
by Ice
Burden.
Earth. Yeah. Yep, first album with Timber Browan's on it at the time.
Yeah.
And you had Evergrey with The Inner Circle. That's a good album.
I
There's
bet the group from AEW thought of that, saw that, and like, that'd be a pretty cool name.
There's a band called Pig Destroyer. And the album Terrifier.
That's a good album. That's a brutal album.
Volume 3 came out that year.
Trying to think, 2004.
Brian's Connection went out. He'll come back. Brian's Connection.
Trying to think what else came out in 04.
Master of the Moon by Dio. The final
Yep.
the final solo album.
Yep, final album.
Contraband by Velvet Revolver. Lionheart by Saxton. They're a good band.
Yes.
Epitaph by Necrophilia. Came out in 04. Unbreaking by the Scorpions came out in 04.
Yep, it did. Yep.
Live at Budokan Dream Theater. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm still here, dudes.
Oh, okay.
I just muted myself.
Whoops.
Fear Factory Archetype came out in 2004.
Yeah.
That's a killer album, man.
05 was a decent year, too. We had another Opeth album in 05 with Ghost Reveries.
Mudvayne.
First album on Roadrunner Records.
Tyranny of Souls by Bruce Dickinson came out in 05.
Oh, yeah, Tyranny of Souls. His last solo album.
Man.
Octavia.
Strapping young lad Alien came out in 2005. That's a fucking brutal ass album.
Nile came out with an album, Annihilation of the Wicked in 05.
Yep, that's true, yep.
You had From Mars to Sirius with Gojira.
Yes!
Cradle of Filth. No, that's 2004. What? Cradle of Filth had, was it Nymphenity? Blah! I can't talk for shit, dude. Nymphemini.
Yeah, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Legacy by Eloise in 05.
Isn't that
The False Keeper of the Seven Keys album.
Yes.
Still a good album. It's just not a Keeper of the Seven Keys type of album. Like
Enemy of God by Creator.
Ooh, yes, that's a big one too. Great album.
Seven Seals by Primal Fear.
Yes, another great album. I think Destruction had an album out in 2005 too. Fuck, which album was it though? I can't remember.
Come on, Wiener.
I think it's Inventor of Evil.
Shizo Deluxe by Annihilator. Shizo Deluxe by Annihilator.
Yeah. I think Death Angel had Killing Season out in 95 or 2005, excuse me. Dude, I'm still half asleep, man. I'm trying to wake up.
Catch 33 by Meshuggah. There's an album.
Yeah.
Holy Hell by Rob Rock. Never heard of Rob Rock.
Rob Rock's pretty good. Good
Sym-
power metal hard rock singer.
Symmetric in Design by Scary Cemetery.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see Death Angel in 06. 05. Might be in 06.
You know what? I think it is an '06 album. The Killers.
Ashes Against the Grain by Agaloth.
Okay.
That's funny. I'm finding all these on Google. So.
Oh yeah, you can find. I'm just too lazy to look at Google right now.
Blood Mountain by Mastodon. Probably one of their better
Yep.
albums. I think it's one of their better albums.
I like the first 3 Mastodon albums. After that, I can't get into them.
Christ Illusion by Slayer.
Ooh, yes, that was a big one that came out in 2006.
Sacrament by Lamb of God. Yes.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. Had Soulfly Dark Ages, I think, came out in 2006, or that might have been a 2005 release.
Kiss of Death by Motorhead in 06.
Kiss of Death, yes. That's a good Motorhead album. But then again, does Motorhead really have a bad album?
10,000 Days by Tool came out that year.
Oh, yeah. There was a bunch of hype for that at the time.
The Crusade by Trivium.
Yeah. That's actually a really good album. That's like their pure thrash metal album.
Metal Church came out with A Light in the Dark.
Yep, I remember that. Paul Di'Anno, The Living Dead. That came out. The original vocalist of Iron Maiden. That came out in 2006. Iron Maiden, Life After, or not Life After Death, A Matter of Life and Death.
I'll be right back. I'm grabbing an alcoholic beverage.
All right. So yeah, man. Welcome everybody to the stream tonight. You got 3 guys here who are willing to entertain you to the best of our abilities.
Beverage. That's on the cheap side. It is Steel Reserve, Blue Raz.
Oh, okay. I've had that before.
8.0%.
Ooh, there. Well, got some Miller Lite.
Oh, what album? Oh, yeah, Sepultura on 06.
Did they have it out?
Dante XXI.
Oh, okay.
We got Cannibal Corpse's Kill.
Axel Rudy Pell Mystica
Mm-hmm.
came out in 2006.
Paul Stanley. I was going to imitate someone on YouTube. Paul Stanley of Kith. Live to win.
Paul Stanley of Kith. It's fucking hilarious.
Right, he's still here?
Oh, yeah, he put out Live to Win in 2006. That's right.
His only studio album.
Technically. Well, besides the first solo album he did under the Kiss moniker still.
But
technically, it's still a solo album.
Well, Ace's album is the best one.
I agree. Like, if I were to rank them, here's how I would rank the Kiss solo albums. Ooh. Peter Criss obviously last. Gene Simmons would be next. I don't care for his solo album much. Paul Stanley, I do like some stuff off of his. And then Aces is definitely the best.
Here's mine. Stanley at the bottom. Then Peter Criss. Then Ace.
Wow. Peter Criss at number 2. Wow.
And if we're just going off which Kiss member had the best solo career albums, Ace hands down. Prelude's Comet, fantastic record.
Tossing and turning. Isn't that on Peter Criss's solo album?
Yes.
See, That's the thing. The songs are so shitty they stick in your head. Then they did that or he had that one track too, "You Matter to Me," which was kind of like a disco song.
I'm back in the New York groove. That's
Oh yeah, that's probably the worst song off of Ace's solo album, to be honest. The rest of it freaking kicks ass.
yeah.
Rip It Out, holy cow, what a killer heavy track. And that's the thing too. I mean, we were talking about this last time we talked. Actually, like after Dynasty, Kiss should have put out an album as heavy as that in 1980, because the new wave of British heavy metal was coming up, obviously.
And
But they didn't.
Unmasked should have never happened.
Nah, they let Paul and Gene let their egos take control of them at the time.
Yeah.
Even though they're still doing that today. But back then, it's a little different. In fact, there's an old interview up on YouTube with Gene Simmons from 1980 when Unmasked just came out. The person who interviewed him was like, "What happened to all the rock on the album? What? There's no hard." She said something like, "There's no hard hitting tracks like on the old Kiss albums." Fucking Gene goes, "What do you mean? There's still rock on this album." Uh huh.
This is what I gotta say to Unmasked.
There's only one good track on Unmasked.
I mean, if you want to
Naked City is the only good track on that album.
If you want to talk about bad Kiss album art covers, Killers. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With that pink backdrop and the lettering and.
I will say though, I do love the album cover to Unmasked. What a killer album cover! But the album though,
Album covers in the 70s, the worst one. That's actually hard to choose.
Which one?
Worst album covers for 70s Kiss.
Ew.
Let's talk at art covers.
That's pretty tough because they're all pretty good. I'm gonna have to go with the first Kiss album.
Yes.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now the best to me is Love Gun when it comes to album covers from the 70s.
I have Dress to Kill as their best album art cover.
That's a cool album cover too. I mean, they're all good, but
fucking hell! If I had to say album artwork, album cover, oof. I think I like. If I had to say number one. Okay, I'll say the worst. Dynasty.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
The best. Oh shoot!
it's freaking tough. But I do love Gun the best.
Yeah.
I wish I could just have personal bias and say Destroyer, but
Hotter Than Hell.
I don't know if I count. I don't know if live albums count, but if they do, Alive 2.
I'll give you that one.
If not, probably it's a toss-up between either Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and or Hotter Than Hell. Or hell, even Love Gun. It's so tough to pick one because there's so many of those that I do
Green
like.
Sean said Cradle of Filth, but something
I'll say when it comes to the 80s, the absolute worst cover is Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The best. I will say, it's either Animalize or Creatures.
That's fair.
Creatures. I'm gonna have to go with Creatures.
If we're talking later Kiss albums, yeah.
I'm not going to the 80s and stuff.
I'll be back, guys.
We're going to Kiss garbage. Sonic Boom album is
Sonic Boom, in terms of
disgusting.
everything, like
Just a
90s.
rip-off
If I
copy
had to
of
say 90s,
Hotter Than Hell
I would
and
say
Rock
the
and Roll.
word.
Rock and Roll Over.
And then with that, the worst for me would have to be Carnival of Souls. The best,
Psycho Circus album cover is
the best album artwork today when it comes to 90s and onwards Kiss, Psycho Circus.
I agree with Psycho Circus.
Without a doubt. I just looked at that and I'm like, God damn, this looks awesome. Even looking at it on cassette, it still looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Even on CD, it looks awesome. And then it was either a toss-up for second best would either be Revenge or Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom is a pretty cool cover. It's kind of like a redoing of Rock and Roll Over. It looks pretty cool.
Worst. We're talking worst.
Worst is by far Carnival of Souls.
Yeah. I'm going to say the worst is Revenge.
Revenge ain't that bad. I like it. It's pretty cool.
Although Psycho Circus is no.
Psycho Circus is the best. It is. If I had to say the overall best for Kiss, out of all those that I've absolutely loved, Psycho Circus. There's no toss up. It's easily
you
my
only
opinion.
Get 2 songs you only get 2 songs with Ace and Peter. That's it. The rest is other guys, and it's like
I can't complain. Bruce Kulick is on it. I can't complain. Bruce is probably easily my favorite Kiss guitarist.
I like the other guitarists.
I like Ace and I like Vinny, but Bruce is. I say
Bruce
is
Kulick
better.
is a cool guitar player.
I mean, your brother is Bob Kulick. You get to at least learn from someone who is known in the music business.
Yeah.
Easily. So that's why I say to myself that Ace, he has his moments as a vocalist between Bruce and Ace. Ace, without a doubt, the better vocalist. And guitar-wise, Bruce is the better guitarist. Just listen to Revenge, and he blows anything Ace has done on guitar out of the water. Hell, even some of those other stuff. I will say, freaking No, him doing Eddie Van Halen style guitar work, like holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
That shocks me that he can do stuff like that. That is impressive.
All right, I'm back.
All right, Ben.
I think I made a final decision on the
okay,
worst Kiss album art cover. I had to think about it.
Okay, before you do, let me say this. Ben, if you had to choose between these two, who you say is the better guitarist, Bruce Kulick or Ace Frehley?
Okay. I'm gonna have to break this one down because I would definitely pick Ace because Ace is unique.
Are you freaking?
But if I'm gonna be technical about it, Bruce Kulick is the better guitar player.
Exactly.
But man, Vinny Vincent's guitar.
But Ace just fits.
Like I said before you came back in, just listen to any of his performance on, say, Unholy from Revenge, or even No. Are you doing Eddie Van Halen stuff in the beginning? Like, that just proves to me Ace is a shit guitar player compared to Bruce.
Huh? What?
I'm not gonna say
Ace isn't a shit guitar player.
I'm not gonna say he's a shit guitar player.
He's not a shit. Okay, you're going up against comparing him to a guy like Bruce. That's like comparing. Okay, how am I gonna word this properly? That's like comparing Tony Iommi and Eddie Van Halen. The difference is it's night and day in terms of how well they play on guitar. Like I said, Iommi is an innovator when it comes to the rhythm stuff, but as a lead player, he's not as great as Eddie Van Halen. It's the same thing with Ace and Bruce. Bruce is the better technical guitar player. I mean, for Christ's sakes, his brother is Bob Kulick.
Well, the thing I've learned over the years, too, it's not always about technical guitar playing. It's about what you can write and how memorable it can be when you're writing it. If I'm making sense.
That is true. That is true. I'll give Ace in that regard. But
plus, Ace is a founding member. So
because there's a lot of guys, too, when it comes to shredding guitar playing, where, they can shred their ass off, but they can't write nothing memorable.
Oh, Reen Sean says, how about Marcus Sepian as a guitarist?
Marcus Sepian as a guitarist.
Is he a guitar player?
I've heard the name, but I can't remember what band he's in.
Yeah, I'm a little lost on this name, too.
I know the name, but where is
it? I've heard the name, too, but I can't think of what he does right now for the life of me.
I think we veered off from the original topic.
Oh, well. I don't even really think. Oh, Blind Guardian. Yeah, that dude's a really good guitar player.
We were talking shit album covers. How about Chinese Democracy by GNR?
I don't like it. I listened to it once and I couldn't get into it. But then again, I'm not a big Guns N' Roses fan at all.
Yeah.
I like Appetite for Destruction. Granted, I don't listen to it no more because I'm burned out on it, but it's still a great album.
I think I've heard Def Leppard made a demo EP that was better than their debut album.
They did. Def Leppard has, they got the Def Leppard EP, which came out in '78. It's got 3 tracks on it. 2 tracks would end up on Through the Night. But before that, they got a demo called War Child, which, War Child was the earliest Def Leppard demo. In fact, I think they were still called Atomic Mass on that demo. And it's got their original drummer on it, Tony Kenning, excuse me. The only thing he did to play drums on, excuse me there.
Yeah, the only album I have from '07 is this album. I think
I got some albums from '07. What was that?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find them, though.
I have a few. Megadeth United Abomination, obviously.
Let me see. I'll just...
Systemic Chaos by Dream Theater came out in '07.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have that.
Paradise Lost by Symphony of...
Ooh, Symphony X, okay.
Let me see.
Diamonds Unlocked by Axel Rudy Pell, I have that. Well, I have everything he did. Almost everything he did.
Gambling with the Devil, Halloween came out in '07.
Yeah. That's
a good album. Was that a good album? Yeah.
Which one?
Gambling with the Devil. Was that a good Halloween album?
I think it's a good album. It's a bit heavy. I mean, it's a bit heavier.
United Abominations by Megadeth, the studio album.
Mm-hmm. That's a good album.
Was that with the stage?
Wait a minute. Let me look on here.
Ooh. Dream Theater versus Blind Guardian.
Dream Theater.
I'm gonna have to go with Blind Guardian.
Gods of War by Manowar.
Xavier loves his Manowar.
Not the best Manowar album. That's where they were trying.
Shadows Fall. Threads of Life.
Oh, that's the album where they got signed to Atlantic and they kind of went a little more Yeah, it's a bit commercial. Well, it's a little more commercial. There's not as much death growls.
Ah, yes. The one and all. I think I only have one album from '07, and I thank God I own it. Ozzy Osbourne, Black Rain.
It's an okay Ozzy album. It's not as bad.
I have it.
It's at the bottom of the bin. It's got its moments.
It's
And
bottom of the
what I'm
barrel.
saying
Ozzy.
is like I like better Ozzy albums.
That's about
I
as
haven't
good
listened to
as
it in a long time.
You,
Black Rain by Ozzy.
Oh, Ben, you got me interested in Municipal Waste. I just started listening to them.
Wait a
Great band.
minute. Is this?
What are you saying, Ryan?
Nope, this was a 2006 album.
The Art of Partying by Municipal Waste in 07. That's the
That's a
album
good
I started listening.
That's a great album. It's pretty funny too.
You started to mention 2008 or something like that.
I said 07. I'm going into 08. And that's pretty good. Watershed by Opeth.
Yeah, Opeth Watershed. The last good one.
There were some albums I mentioned that I do remember getting back then. White Snake, Good to Be Bad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Motley Crue, Saints of Los Angeles, their last full-length studio album.
All
what was there? Oh, Gojira, The Way of All Flesh. I happen to own that.
Black Ice by AC/DC came out.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I used to have that. Oh yeah,
That's a good album.
There's some
Good
good ones.
AC/DC.
I can show some '08 albums. I think I got a good chunk of them still.
Yep.
Okay, let me see if I can even freaking
Nostradamus by Judas Priest.
Oh yeah, their concept
album.
album.
There it is. Oh, I'm going to show these discs because I don't know. Yeah. Where is it? Oh yes, this one was an '08 album. What else is an '08 album? Come on, where's another? What's another 2008 album? Nope, nothing else in here. Okay, let me show you because I have some of these on. CD. So, All That Remains, Overcome.
Okay. Not really.
Gojira, The Way of All Flesh.
That's a good album.
Here's something. This was a 2-disc set. This was Journey, Revelation.
Ooh.
A little bit of something different, a little bit. And then the second to last Mudvayne album, The New Game.
No, those newer Journey albums were good. A bit more hard rock.
I was like, well, Journey still make albums? I was like, okay, why not?
Yeah, that's a shame, man. They get ignored too, just because they don't have Steve Perry anymore.
Yeah, I think the second disc of Revelations is covered. It's just just some of the old stuff.
Speaking of Journey, we could talk about this real quick. That new track.
There's some other. I do realize it. Oh yeah, continue. Go on.
I think this means they might do a new album with that track. That could be a teaser.
Yeah. I thought the new track was good, actually. It was different. Like, to me, the new track has more of a Joe Bonamassa type of feel to it, a bit bluesy.
Oh.
And that's why I like it. It's a lot more guitar on it.
Sebastian Bach was recently on Loudwire. I was telling Ryan and Xavier about it. Guess what the dumbass did?
Oh, fuck him. He's becoming metal's biggest crybaby.
Well,
Sebastian Bach.
He's making a lie claiming that in 99, 98, he was rumored to be doing sessions with Ozzy and Tony and Mike Gordon.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he's a better guitar player than Tony and Zakk Wylde. And,
oh, yeah.
I pulled out some of the... I pulled out some more albums from 2008. Here's the
Sure.
Disturbed, Indestructible.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, Indestructible came out in 2008.
Death Magnetic from
Yeah.
Metallica.
Oh yeah, Death
and
Magnetic.
And then
obviously.
somehow, and this is when it first came out, and I was hooked on. And when it first came out, Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone.
Ugh. Don't like that album.
To me, their worst album.
I stopped after
but then they bounced back and made a better album.
Anyways, back to Sebastian Bach being a dumb shit.
That's all he's been doing for like the last year, is saying dumb shit, Sebastian Bach. I lost respect for him.
Yeah, Ozzy came out a few days ago saying that Sebastian Bach was never in his band, so he doesn't know where.
Yeah, I don't know where he's getting that fucking info. Well, you see, I don't go on Twitter because I think Twitter's trash. But I see like Sebastian Bach's on Twitter fighting with fans. It's like, dude, you're a celebrity. Why are you fucking giving in to these fans?
And then making like false claims that you were gonna do an album with Ozzy when clearly you ain't.
Yeah, really.
And then a slap in the face disrespecting Tony Iommi.
Oh yeah.
And then he disrespected Randy Rhoads, claiming he was a better guitar player. I'm like, yeah, dude, you need to just shut up.
Just shut up, Sebastian. We're sick of you. Oh God, man! Like I said before, he's becoming metal's biggest crybaby and douchebag.
I said this to my uncle yesterday. He is the metal community's bitch.
That's true. The bitch of the metal community, Sebastian Bach. No wonder Skid Row wants nothing to do with him.
Wow. What's next? Is he going to claim he signed up to play with AC/DC? What's next?
Surprised me. Yeah, I tried to fill in for the vocal spot for Brian Johnson when he was out. Sure you did.
Yeah. Axl Rose did a better job than you. That's saying something.
Yes. Fucking Sebastian Bach, man. He used to be like the coolest person in metal. Now he's like the biggest fucking douchebag in metal.
A lot of people said he's been doing stuff. He's probably doing a lot of fucking drugs and he's acting crazy.
He's doing a lot of stuff, all right. Acting like a dumb fuck on the internet.
Yeah.
Especially on Twitter, attacking fans that disagree with him.
I would pay to see Chris Jericho knock his lights out. I would pay to see that.
Right.
But
yeah.
Still there, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's still there.
What's your thoughts on the whole Sebastian Bach being Sebastian Bach?
I don't give a fuck.
there you go. That's the best answer yet.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's basically what it boils down to.
It's none of my problem.
Yep. I agree there. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Keep on being a whiny ass bitch, Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
And keep on losing your credibility.
If Bach wants to continue to whine and be a bitch, keep doing that, and eventually your concert, three of your bandmates will attack you.
Right on.
That is his prerogative. If he wants to be a whiny... Oh, sorry, I gotta keep it down. If he wants to be a whiny, crying bitch, then he can be a whiny, crying
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, man.
Someone said worst Pink Floyd album covers. I don't think there's any.
Who said that?
Oh, I thought it in my head. I said worst Pink Floyd album covers. I'm like, no, that's tough.
It's kind of weird. I never actually liked many of their album covers.
The one with the cow, Adam Hart Mother's kind of. It's just a picture.
That's just a weird cover. A big cow on the front of your album. Then you get Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast, which is the weirdest fucking track.
It's cool. It's a cool track.
You gotta be stoned out of your fucking mind to enjoy it.
If you go back to the first album with Sid Barrett, it sounds really different compared to all the stuff with Gilmore Waters.
Yep. There's some good shit on that album. I do like Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I do like that.
I've got a bike. You can. Yeah, that's a weird song, but Astronomy Domain, that's a heavy song.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty cool track. It's weird as shit, but
that was Frank Zappa's favorite Pink Floyd song. He used to jam with Pink Floyd around that time.
Yep. Astronomy Dawn, yeah, and that's a fucking great track. In a Stellar Overdrive.
You have
which is a weird track. Careful with that Axe Eugene. Oh man, that's a really bizarre track. That's probably the first track recorded. Yeah, that's probably the first recorded track with what would become black metal vocals, where fucking Roger Waters is just screaming his ass off in the middle of that track.
Then you had the two instrumental albums, Obscured Like Clouds and Saucer Full of Secrets, which I think Dark Side of the Moon started at Obscured by Clouds.
It did actually.
Then the finished. I think Dark Side of the Moon is that finished product of those two albums.
And I'm trying to think. Like Pink Floyd never did a lot of heavy songs.
No.
But the Nile song, that's a freaking heavy track for the time.
And that's off that's technically like a movie concept album.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool track, actually. Yeah. Yeah, they were never known for doing heavy songs, though. Just psychedelic and really just laid back.
I don't know, Dark Side of the Moon, Time, that's a good song.
Time, it's a great track. I still love that track.
Money's a catchy song. That saxophone section in the middle of the song. Oh, good.
Right. I mean, you got other tracks on there like Us and Them, which has that really somber saxophone solo in it.
Yeah, the intro into the album.
Right.
And you end it with Eclipse.
Yes. Yeah, it's still a classic album. Dark Side of the Moon. It's one of the biggest albums ever made.
The most simplistic, I say, album cover ever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a rainbow going through a triangle.
But if I were to pick a favorite Pink Floyd album, okay, I'm not even actually going to pick a favorite Pink Floyd album because I already know what it is. It's Animals. But a favorite Pink Floyd song. My favorite Pink Floyd song easily would be Echoes.
Echoes Part 1.
I love Echoes. All 23 minutes of it, man. I love it.
Especially the live Pompeii version.
Oh, yeah.
That whole live gig is really good.
Right.
Especially that jam section. Right after they play Echoes, before part 2, they do a little jam, heavy little jam session. And then they go back into Echoes Part 2.
Then you got Uma Guma. It's fucking weird about Uma Guma. It's the first album that actually freaked me out. Okay, I'm going to tell a little story here. One night after work, right?
Yeah.
I used to live out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, no street lights or nothing. So I'd go down at one of our bottom dirt roads and park, and just sit there and listen to music sometimes, and drink a couple beers before I'd go home. And I'm listening to Uma Guma one night. It's pretty dark out. The album started freaking me out. I'm like, it's just, it's definitely an album. There's something about that album that has a very dark atmosphere to it.
Originally, that album wasn't supposed. No,
Yeah,
Nick Mason, David Gilmour, Roger Waters said that album was never meant to exist.
right.
Supposedly,
Because, well, yeah, you could tell that album wasn't even. You could tell that album's very unconventional.
Mhm.
They just put that album out to pretty much make noise or
no,
whatever.
one of the reasons they put that album out was the record label wanted them to put a quick album out, and they were getting pressured
Yeah.
by the record label.
That's probably why they did. Yeah, because there's absolutely no structure to it. But there's just fucking musical pieces on that album. If you're listening to it by yourself on a dark night, it freaks you the fuck out.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, you said Animals, but Wish You Were Here is a good album.
That's a damn good album, too.
Welcome to the Machine is a heavy song in itself.
Yeah. Heavy in a different way, yes. Yeah. It's probably the first Pink Floyd song I can remember hearing. Like, growing up. Well, no, probably... Nah, probably Another Brick in the Wall was the first one I heard, but I think it was Welcome to the Machine that really caught my attention as a kid.
The worst album they ever made is The Final Cut. I agree with every other Pink Floyd fan.
Mhm. That album's boring.
That album is straight up a Roger Waters solo album. That's what I call it.
It is.
Oh, what do you think of A Momentary Lapse of Reason?
Oh, that's a fantastic album. That's a good album.
What? I've heard people hate that album.
Momentary Lapse of Reason, that's a good album. It's it feels like it's something left over from The Wall and the last previous albums, unlike Final Cut.
Pretty much.
But I think
Yeah,
I think Pink Floyd's last hurrah was The Division Bell. That album is very underratedly good. It's a gem.
Yeah, there's good stuff on that album. Highest Hopes, great track.
Maroon. What Do You Want From Me? High Hopes.
High Hopes, yeah. Yep.
Into the Darkness. I forget what the name of that track is, but I know some of the lyrics.
It's been a while since I've listened to it.
And then their newest album, I mean, The Final Cut, is that really a studio album by Pink Floyd?
And yeah, that album, it's mainly a collection of old Richard Wright demos. Polished up, you know, a bit.
No, that's The Final Cut.
Because technically, technically you only get one track on it at the end of the album.
It's pretty good, but
yeah, that track's good. But
it's leftovers from the previous two albums. It's leftovers from the previous two albums.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff was recorded around the time of Division Bell.
And originally around Division Bell towards the end and the early recordings, David Gilmour wanted Roger Waters to do the Endless River with them.
Right.
Now we know how that goes. He won't do anything with David.
Right. Yeah, there's never going to be another Pink Floyd reunion or album. I mean, plus they're all in their mid-70s now.
Although Nick Mason has his Saucer Full of Secrets band, he's still playing drums and he still sounds really good.
I never actually heard that.
Look it up on YouTube. You can only really find it on YouTube now. So.
All right. So back to the comment section here. Did anyone hear the new At the Gates? I have not heard it yet. That's another one I'm going to
Factory album.
Somebody who likes the new Fear Factory, so that's at least giving me some hope that I might end up liking it.
Yeah, New Fear Factory album's pretty good.
Yeah. Rain Shay said, "Which album freaks me out?" Although it was a Pink Floyd album. I
Well,
get
you
your.
know,
I mean, if we're talking psychedelic bands, you can't get more psychedelic than Pink Floyd. I don't think any band can get as psychedelic as Pink. Oh, there's Frank Zappa.
yeah. A lot of albums too.
I
There
still,
you go, guys.
I
There
still,
you go. You want? Go ahead.
you go ahead. I'll wait.
I was, no, I was gonna say, you want to rank every do you want to rank every Frank Zappa album? It's like 120 albums.
His
It'd be
best
like,
album, in my opinion, Joe's Garage, Acts 1, 2, and 3. That's just a classic. There's no
see,
bad song.
yeah. I've never actually sat down and listened to a full Frank Zappa album, to be honest.
That's usually the album I recommend people to start off with, Frank Zappa. You get a little bit of everything on that album.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank Zappa.
Sorry, that's one of my issues I have.
Yeah, Frank Zappa, man. So much music. It'd take forever to listen to it all.
I'm only like 17 albums in and listening to Frank Zappa.
Right.
A lot.
Out of 120 albums.
Yeah. I mean, his son Dweezil, he sounds just like his father, and he plays just like his father.
Right. Oh, he was talented as all hell.
Yeah. Same with people don't remember Bob Marley. He played guitar.
Yeah. That's another one I never listened to a lot of. Bob Marley. I just couldn't get into it. Like the Grateful Dead, I can't get into the Grateful Dead much.
The Moody Blues, I have to be in the mood for them. If you hit it in.
Me too. Talented band.
Yeah.
It's just like, the Moody Blues, you got to be in the right mood to listen to it.
What would be your favorite
Yeah.
album?
And if you're into gun gray metal like I am, it's very hard to sit down and listen to a Moody Blues album.
Something popped in.
And
Worst Guns N' Roses album art cover.
the Spaghetti Incident. That's a terrible cover.
That's a terrible album.
Cover.
Horrible album. Spaghetti.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Like for me, like I said, Appetite for Destruction, great album. Can't listen to it much anymore these days. I think there's some gems on Use Your Illusions 1 and 2. Especially all the deep cuts. There's some good deep cuts on them albums.
Do you think one of the reasons why people are burnt out on Def Leppard is because they overplayed them to hell a lot on the radio?
Yeah, well, yeah. But then again, Def Leppard hasn't put out a good album in years. Since Pyromania.
The only album I have is the what is it, the quadruple disc Mirrorball, whatever album, whatever. That's the only album I have.
Isn't it? Yeah, ain't that the live album they did?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta get going. I'll hopefully talk to y'all later.
Hey Ryan.
All right, man. Later, Ryan. Thanks for joining, dude.
Thanks.
And then there was 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we were talking about Def Leppard. Yeah, Pyromania. Kind of burnt out on that album.
Yeah, it's still a damn good album.
It's a cool album cover.
Yeah. Like, to me, Pyromania is the last good Def Leppard album. Then after that,
Queen has
not
had
so good.
Queen's had a couple stinker albums.
Let's see, Queen. Yeah, Hot Space. That's a pretty bad album. That's definitely the
Jazz.
worst Queen album.
Jazz.
I I like some of that album. I don't think it's totally bad. There's a couple good, really heavy tracks on that album.
The final album
Um,
with Freddie. I mean, it was his last album, but
Innuendo.
yeah.
That's a good album, actually. I think. I mean, then you have what else came out? The Miracle. Yeah,
The
I mean
first
some of the '80s Queen's albums aren't as good.
70s Queen was the cream of
Yeah,
crop for Queen. I mean,
yep. Like to me, when it comes to Queen, the first two Queen albums are definitely my favorite.
yeah.
Queen and Queen Two. Sheer Heart Attack's a good album.
If you had to rank all the Motorhead albums, it'd be a good
Oh,
challenge.
it would.
It's if you had to pick one favorite from each era of Motorhead, or each,
For Motorhead, well,
yeah,
in the '70s, that's easy. Overkill,
yeah,
definitely the best.
yeah.
In the '80s, thinking here, I think my favorite '80s Motorhead album would be. Yeah, it's got to be Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
The
90s,
'90s. Oh, there was a lot in the '90s. Phew. I think Sacrifice is my favorite Motorhead album from the '90s. In the 2000s, I'm gonna go with Inferno. The 2010s, I'm gonna go with Aftershock.
yeah. It's a family lost Lemmy. I forget how he passed away. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's pretty much just natural causes.
Bastards is a good album by Motorhead. Speaking.
Ooh, yes, that's a great fucking album. I love Bastards. That could be tied with Sacrifice for me. Overnight Sensation's a great album too. I mean, Motorhead really don't have a bad album. I
That's the same
mean,
with
like
that's the
to me
same
the
with
worst. Go ahead.
that's the same with ACDC. There's both bands don't have a bad album.
Like to me, if I were to pick the worst Motorhead album, it would be March or Die.
I'm gonna go with the 1979 album Bomber as my favorite Motorhead album.
Ooh, oh, your favorite? That's a damn good one too.
And favorite 80s album Orgasmatron.
That's an underrated album. That's a damn good one too.
And 90s, I'm gonna go Another Perfect Day.
I think that one came out in the '80s,
Oh,
'83.
my
That's a
bad.
good album too, though.
Yeah. March or Die. Yeah, that was 92. That's
Yeah,
a good one. That was Filthy Phil's last album.
it was. Still my least favorite. That's where they were. You could tell they were trying to go commercial on that album. I
Those
mean,
are
they were on CBS Records, I think, at the time, or Columbia, or yeah, or Epic Records, or whatever.
an album in 2002 called Hammerhead or Hammer.
Hammered, yeah, decent album. But yeah, I mean, yeah, as far as Motorhead,
They have
not
a
really a
lot
bad
of
album.
live albums. I'm looking here on their disc albums. They have a lot more live albums than studio albums.
Oh my god, yeah, a ton of reissues too. There's a lot of reissues. But
I'm,
yeah,
look, I'm looking at ACDC. as of 2021, they released some new live. They released a bunch of live stuff that was hidden in the vaults apparently.
Right.
If I had to rank the best and worst AC/DC album art cover, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say Rock or Bust is the worst album art cover.
Yeah, that one's kind of whatever.
The best, just all out best. I love Highway to Hell. I love Back in Black. I've given that one to Let There Be Rock.
Yes. My favorite ACDC album cover.
By a hair.
I'm going to go. Okay, my favorite when it comes to their album covers. I'm going to go with the Australian version of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I love that album cover.
That version has jailbreak on it.
Yeah. Yep. Worst album cover, yeah. Trying to think here.
I was tempted to say Power Up, but no, that's a good album. That's a good album cover.
No, I like that cover. Worst album cover. Because there's a couple that aren't so good.
Flick of the Switch. I can see why bands don't like the Flick of the Switch.
Trying to think, the worst album cover to me would be. I think I'm going to go with. Trying to think here still. I'm going to go with probably Rock or Bust 2. Not a great album cover.
After listening to Power Up and then listening to the last albums going back to Ballbreaker, and then listening to Rock or Bust and then comparing Power Up to the last albums, I don't think Power Up matches Rock or Bust at all, nor Black Ice. I think it sort of mirrors Stiff Upper Lip, Ballbreaker, Flick of the Switch, for those about to rock. I think it mirrors those albums and a lot of the songs.
I don't think it does.
No.
I actually enjoyed the album. I mean, it's it's AC/DC. You know what you're going to get when AC/DC comes out with a new album. I just think the songs on this sounded pretty damn good.
I mean, Kick You When You're Down. That has like a Ballbreaker vibe to it.
I mean, I think it's definitely better than Stiff Upper Lip and Rock or Bust. I would say it's probably as good as Black Ice. A little better, maybe, when it comes to the modern AC/DC albums.
It doesn't have that production that Ballbreaker had, even though Rick Rubin. I don't know what Angus and Malcolm were thinking with having Rick Rubin come in for Ballbreaker. Great album. It's a great AC/DC album, but
I think it's an underrated album. Yeah. I think it's actually a good album too.
I'm looking at AC/DC albums. Here's the live albums they recently released. 2018, Live at the Paradise Theater in Boston, 1978. Townsend State College, live 1979. AC/DC Reunion Arena, live 1985. Oh, wow, 85. Live Townsend State College 79 again. And then one of the fan favorites that just got released in 2020 was Live at the Waldorf 1977 San Francisco, which has two unreleased songs called Kicked in the Teeth and Up to My Neck and You.
Yeah. Right. Good performances.
And
Now, oh, go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead. I was just looking.
I was just thinking, worst production on an AC/DC album. I already know what mine is. I think the worst production's "Fly on the Wall." I do not like the production on that album. It's a great album. I just don't like the production on it.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. All right, I've committed a sin. I'm gonna say Razor's Edge has the worst production.
Oh, oh. Oh no, there's a lot of people that might actually agree with you because a lot of people seem to hate on the Razor's Edge album nowadays.
The title track's good. The title track's good. There's a lot of filler on that album.
Yeah, I'm just going production. I mean, like to be on Fly on the Wall, I think the production's way too
Distorted.
well, too much reverb. And I like reverb. I think reverb makes a better production actually, but if you use too much reverb, it sounds like shit. It don't sound good.
Well, then the production on Blow Up Your Video is sort of that same
Yeah,
reverb that's on the wall.
Yeah, that's got a pretty crappy production too. Now, the best produced AC/DC album, I would have to say, would be
Highway to Hell. Mutt Lang. This is the first Mutt Lang record. That's for me.
Yeah, technically, I would say Highway to Hell. It definitely has a cool production. I like the production on Let There Be Rock because it's so raw and gritty.
Yes.
That's definitely AC/DC's heavy sounding album.
While recording the album, not Angus, but Malcolm himself burnt out the amps while doing the title track. So,
oh yeah, because you could tell they turned up on that album. It's definitely got a rawer, grittier, heavier sound for 1977.
See that album has mixed feelings for some AC/DC fans. Some fans don't
I
like
love
it.
it.
I'm like,
how can you not like it?
I mean, you have Go Down, like to kick off the
Yeah.
song. That's a good track. Bad Boy Boogie, that's a fantastic song.
Hell
Now-
ain't a bad place to be.
The Australian version doesn't have Problem Child. It has a song
No, it doesn't.
where Bon Scott's singing about crabs.
Crapsody and Blues. Yep, I have it. Yep, I love it. Let There
And
Be
then-
Rock. That's probably my favorite album, to be
The
honest.
next album has a song left off, Powerage.
Yeah. Oh, that's a damn good album too.
Yeah.
Yep. Power Rage is like the hidden gem in that era. That's
They
a
have a
very good
song
album.
that didn't make the cut called Cold Hearted Man.
That's a good track too. Yep, I've heard it. Yep.
Then you have,
Kicked in the Teeth. Oh man.
luckily we got the polished version of High Voltage. We didn't get the Australian version.
Well, the Australian version's way different. Like we were talking before.
Yeah.
Like the Australian version of High Voltage is like a totally different album compared to the High Voltage that got put out here.
Yeah, it is. It's
And a lot of those songs on the Australian version of High Voltage ended up on 74 Jailbreak.
and there's one song, what was it, the DC Backtracks. Remember when that came out?
Yeah.
That you had extra songs like Stick Around, Cyberspace.
Yep.
That song felt like it was off a Stiff Upper Lip.
I think it was recorded around that time. It was actually.
Because I listened to it, it doesn't have that oomph on Ball Breaker. It doesn't have that
No.
punch in your gut.
Yeah, that was recorded. I think, yeah. Now, I think it's on the Japanese version of Stiff Upper Lip Cyberspace. I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But not on the Australian or American version.
Right.
backtracks. You have tracks like Stick Around. And then the only ballad AC/DC ever did was Love Song. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be back in a minute.
Sure.
Keep on talking.
What's up, chat? What's up, Speed King? You're missing Bomber in your collection. We still need it. Yeah, man. Get it. Get that collection done. Anyway, guys, tonight's alcoholic beverage is, I'm going to say it again, Steel Reserve. Alloy Series. Spiked Blue Raz. 8%. Only, not chugging it, just drinking it. Just have a good old time. Well, happy 4th, everyone. Late 4th. Yes, the camera got 4 people in chat. So everybody's watching. We have some more people in the chat watching.
Oh, we got some people here? Oh, we got Speed King in the house.
Yep. Don't mind me, I gotta step out of the camera for a sec.
I agree, man. Fucking Bastards is a very underrated Motorhead album. Balmer's a great album, obviously. But yes, the new At the Gates album will be the next one I'm going to pick up. I actually haven't even checked. Or no, I did check out the new track. I thought the new track was quite good.
I think it was you or Ryan was talking about doing a Dio solo ranked album video.
I already actually did it. I did it last year, actually, my album rankings on the Dio albums.
Oh.
Yeah. The only one I haven't done yet is ranking the Rainbow albums with Dio. I didn't do that one yet.
Well, there's only 3. Plus the live
Those are the only albums I'm going to rank. I'm not going to rank the Joe Lynn Turner albums. I'm just going to focus on the Dio era, Black Sabbath album, Sabbath era, Rainbow era albums.
To me, the band Rainbow, there's only 3 albums, technically.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, Rising, and Long Live Rock and Roll.
16th century Dream Sleeps. Great song.
Yep.
Then you
Oh
have
my God. Gates of Babylon.
Long Live Rock and Roll.
Stargazer. Oh.
What is it? The
What
Mystical Lady or something like that?
Oh, okay. Terran Lady.
Terror Woman. Yeah, there you go. Rum with the Wolf on that Rainbow Rising. Rum with the Wolf kind of has like a Holy Diver vibe to it almost.
Right. Yeah, it's like a predecessor to what you would hear in the future. And it's weird because it has Jimmy Bain on bass too, who would go on to be a Dio solo band.
I've always said, imagine if Dehumanizer was successful, Dio stayed with the band, and they made the Headless Cross album with Dio.
That could be interesting. Like if Dio would have never left Black Sabbath. But then again, we wouldn't have got all those awesome Dio albums either.
Well,
probably.
We wouldn't have gotten the other Tony Martin albums.
Yep, that's true.
Even
See,
though
there's always.
I don't know why people shit on Forbidden. Is there a reason?
Uh, I'm not the biggest fan of it either.
Oh, I love that album. To me,
I
that's
think
the best album for Tony
the
Martin.
production's definitely not the greatest. Um, there's a couple good tracks on it.
Get a grip.
Get a grip, yeah, that's a cool track. Chains in Hell, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think it's called Chains in Hell. It's been a long time since I've listened to it.
I think Cross
But,
Purpose is the worst Sabbath album art cover out of them all.
yeah, I don't have much memory of that album. I'd have to go back and listen to it again. It's been so long.
Yeah. But there is news that Geezer Butler, with the Geezer Butler box set, that's coming out.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that before.
With the 3 albums,
GZR.
GZR, Plastic Planet, Black Science, and Onward. God, I still say those albums are good, but they're forgotten.
They are forgotten. I mean, you go back through the years, like we were talking earlier. There's so many albums that are forgotten about.
Yeah. And remember, the reunion album had 2 extra songs that were written by Bill and the band, and I think at the time they were thinking of doing an album, but Sharon wanted Ozzy to do another solo album, and
Yeah, weird timing.
Yep.
Yeah, the '90s. I mean, the '90s in general it was a weird decade, especially for metal.
But that's a true statement on Bill Ward. Cozy Powell apparently got sick during the first American leg of the Headless Cross tour was that after Dehumanizer? 93, 94?
I think so. Yeah.
Cozy Powell apparently got sick and he couldn't make the dates for Mexico and South America. Tony contacted Vinny. Vinny could not do it. So Bill was not doing anything with his solo project at the time. Bill was available, and Bill was only able to do those tour dates. And Bill did like maybe 15 shows. So, and then Bill originally was going to do more for the tour with him because he liked the lineup. This was Bill's words. He said, "I felt comfortable with the current lineup despite Ozzy not being there. I felt pretty comfortable."
Yeah.
Until Geezer got into an argument with Tony Martin. Apparently, story goes of how that lineup broke up. Bill left was somehow Tony was drunk and he hit on Geezer's wife at the time.
Yeah, it was a huge mess back then. I mean,
and also check out Bill Ward's solo albums, guys.
Good stuff. I have checked it out.
There's a song called
Jack Band
and stuff. And,
yeah. I forget what album.
When the bow breaks.
Yeah.
Accountable Beasts was another one.
Oh, I'm thinking here. He did an album back in 1990 that had a guest appearance by Ozzy on it.
That was Ward 1 along the way.
That's right. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's good.
I say, pull it out and crank it.
Right. That's one I got to get. But before that, I mean, yeah, he had some good solo material, yeah.
And he sung and played drums and percussions. And he also played African drumming instruments on those albums.
Right.
He said it himself. He did all the percussion work and all the vocals. He could sing.
I was just gonna say he could sing too. He's a real good singer. He's got great vocals,
Shame he only sung 2 songs in Sabbath. That's all I gotta say.
True. but
And Swinging the Chains, Spike Bilson.
Swinging the Chains. Oh,
It's like Tony Iommi had some solo albums. Also, he did an album where Ozzy and Bill, and then one bass player did a special guest, and they did a song. I think "Who's Killing Who," I believe. It's on YouTube. You gotta check it out. But I think there was a Metal Christmas album that had Dio and Iommi do "Merry Ye Little Gentlemen" or something like that.
oh, yeah. That's for a metal Christmas compilation. Yes, that is a cool freaking version of that track.
I don't think they could have picked any guitar player or singer to do it better. I mean,
Oh, Tony Iommi does a great job on that. Freaking Dio singing "God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen." It's just freaking awesome, man. Oh yeah, did you ever hear? It's been out for quite a while now. Dio cover "Dream On" by Aerosmith.
I listened to it.
I like it.
To me, Aerosmith and Dio, that just clicks in my head. I'm thinking, no.
I think Dio actually sings it better, to be honest. I mean, that's my opinion, though. Nothing against. I mean, they're both good, obviously. Okay. Let me see what you sent me here. Oh yeah, I remember this track.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's
I used to have that album.
yeah.
I don't have it no more. Well, I had it on CD at one time. I don't
quite a few solo albums. They did one with Ian Gillan. They did a rehashed version of Trashed.
Yeah, and he did one with Glenn Hughes. It was actually recorded in '96, but got released in. I think he did two with Glenn Hughes.
Well, 7 Star.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I thought there was an album in the 2000s he did with Glenn Hughes also. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know Vinny Appice was in a band called Kill Devil Hill or something like that.
Yeah, I actually have that CD. It's got Rex Brown from Pantera on bass. I haven't broke that out and listened to it since I got it.
You know, it's weird. Also on Dehumanizer, we would have gotten Simon Wright on drums. Because Dio wanted to bring in his drummer. And Tony said no. He wanted to use his drummer at the time, Cozy Powell.
That's very true. He did actually. Yeah, that whole era was weird with Sabbath.
But that era, we possibly got the most like, sadistic version of Dio we've ever heard of albums.
Well, we got the angriest version of Dio at that time.
Strange Highways.
Dehumanizer. Oh, Strange Highways was such a heavy album. To me, Dehumanizer Part 2, man.
Yeah. Angry Machines, Dehumanizer Part 3.
That's a heavy album too, yeah.
A lot of Dio fans hate that album for some reason.
Well, I think I know I've talked about this before. In fact, I feel like we're talking about things. I think we're talking about the same subjects we talked about before here.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, people.
Yeah.
Like I said, this stream was unplanned. Like, that's why the stream is all over the place tonight.
I'm thinking of some tracks off of Angry Machine.
But no, we're talking about Angry Machine, right?
The album art cover I could do without.
Now, I'll be honest, back in '96, I did buy Angry Machine on cassette tape. just because I thought the album cover looked cool.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wasn't like too familiar with Dio. I knew who he was, but I didn't delve deep into his music much, due to the fact the first Dio album or cassette tape I ever bought was "Lock Up the Wolves" back when.
That's the first album I've ever heard. That's the first
That's
album
I was
I've ever
like,
heard.
you know, well at the time I was like 12, 13. I found it in a $5 bin and I bought it because I thought that album cover looked cool too. And at the time, I hated it.
I think that album is his weakest out of all the solo albums. Is Lock Up the Wolves.
And so when Angry Machine came out in '96, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this guy another chance. And I bought it at the time, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Then it took me to hear Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell to appreciate Ronnie James Dio and to really want to dive into his catalog at the time. This would have been in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was around '98 because I remember it was New Year's Eve or it was New Year's Day of 1997. Right, I'm at my buddy's house where I used to live at, and I went over there for New Year's Day. Well, he pretty much forced me to come hang out with him. At the time. So I go over there, he shows me his records he had at the time. He's got Iron Maiden, then he has these Black Sabbath albums. It was Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules, right? So I'm looking through these records, I'm like, I've never heard of these two Black Sabbath albums. My buddy looks at me, he's like, you don't want to listen to them, they don't have Ozzy, they suck. It got me mysterious about it. I'm like, now I want to hear them. So, yeah, it took the Heaven and Hell album to get me into Dio back in '98. After I heard that, I went out and listened to everything else. I'm like, this guy had some amazing music besides the two albums before that I thought were bad, which turned out to be the two worst albums in his discography, you know. But even those albums grew on me over time. I'm like, yeah.
Then his last three albums, Magica, concept album. I think it's the greatest concept album art ever.
It's damn good.
And
yeah,
we
that
were
was actually
two more Magicas.
Yeah, I bought Magica back when it came out. I thought it was freaking great. I mean, around that time too, I was starting to open up a little more to, you know, more melodic music too at the time.
And if you listen to Magica, it has sort of a heaven and hell rainbowish vibe to that specific album.
It definitely has a rainbow vibe to it. I can definitely hear it.
Kill the Dragon. That's kind of a return to form. Almost
Right.
return to form of it. You know,
Yeah, to me, I think Magica is a very underrated album. I mean, there's some good stuff on it. Now there's one track on there. I forget which track it is. I'm trying to think what fucking song it is. But there's a track on Magica that sounds almost identical to Cat and Scratch Fever by Ted Nugent. I can't remember which track it is.
Fever Dreams.
No. It's not. Well, that one has a rainbow vibe to it. No, there's another track on that album. Oh, crap. I don't feel like taking out the CD either. Because I just got piles of CD I'd have to dig through to find it.
Turn to Stone, Feed My Head, Aerial.
It might be Turned to Stone. I can't remember. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna look it up actually. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna actually look it up on YouTube. People are probably like, "What the fuck are they doing in this stream tonight?" Hey, man, we're having fun. We're having fun. We're just talking about different random things.
Well, that's what metal and rock should be. It should be.
Right. Yeah, there was nothing planned for the stream, man. It's just to come in, have fun tonight, and that's the way every stream should be too. Have fun. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, whatever. We're having fun.
To me, also, Dehumanizer sounds like a Dio solo album, even though it's Sabbath. When I listen to Dehumanizer,
Kind of. I mean,
if you listen to Master of Insanity, you listen to Time Machine, TV Crimes, kind of has that Dio solo-esque vibe, despite it being Sabbath.
fuck, is it Ariel? No. It's not Feed My Head. I think it's Turned to Stone. Find out. I'm pretty sure it's this track.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Nah, maybe it's not this track. I know it's not Feed My Head.
Turn to
It's
Stone?
a Chalice. Just go to Chalice. That's Chalice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Cat Scratch Fever almost.
Ronnie's got to rip off someone. I mean,
Yeah. Down. Yeah, man, it's a lot like Cat Scratch Fever.
yeah, it's got it. And then again, if you
Then
pull up,
it gets into sounding like Dio.
then again, the next album, you have the title track, "Killing the Dragon," which
Yep.
has that, like eerie little echoing going on. Then kicks
Right.
like a crunchy guitar sound right out of the gate.
In the ocean.
See, that song right there has a pre-needed vibe. I'm getting into it too.
It's a cool track.
I haven't heard the album in probably a few months since the last time I heard the album.
Even if that rip does sound like Cat Scratch Fever, it's still cool.
It does. But then again, you listen to this album, then you listen to the title track on the next album. There's a difference.
Yep.
You know, people say, I don't understand. People say all the Dio albums sound the same. They have the same vibe. They don't. Not all of them are the same. Excuse me, I am sorry. What's up, Pete King?
All right, I'm back.
Pete King said he's gonna spin some Dio. We got him hooked on Dio.
Right on. But yeah,
I was telling Pete King that not all Dio albums are the same.
hell yeah, man. It's always cool to spin any Dio. in honor of the late great Ronnie James Dio.
And like Dio said in one of his live concerts, follow the bouncing Dio.
Oh man, it sucks I never got to see him live. It would have been cool.
I didn't see him live. My cousin saw him live during Heaven and Hell. Well, I still call it Black Sabbath. I'll still call it Black Sabbath. I won't call it Heaven.
Right. Yep.
It's the same band. It's just Tony wanted the rights for Black Sabbath at that time. He really wanted the rights for Sabbath. And Warner Brothers and Sharon basically stiffed them. And Sharon and Warner Brothers still owns the rights to Sabbath, I think, at the moment, even though it's Tony's band.
Right, definitely. I mean, obviously, Sharon Osbourne has to stick her bitchy nose in everything when it comes to Ozzy. Anyway. But so we are on the 2 hour and 10 minute mark here on Metalben's 4th of July celebration Monday. Well, now it's like 2 days after the 4th. Since we're past midnight.
I'm probably for another 10 minutes. And
right.
I'm going to call it for 10 minutes. So.
Yeah. Not going to keep it going much longer here. But yeah, I mean.
What was I going to say? Ozzy solo albums, the first two are good. Nothing beats the first two. Bark at the Moon's, yeah. No Rest for the Wicked, really good. Shot in the Dark's terrible. I don't like the album art cover.
What, for the Ultimate Sin?
Yes, that's a terrible album art cover for Ozzy. Oh, God. The album itself, some of the songs are just not good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird album.
But then again, you kind of have a sort of like a comeback album with No More Tears.
Yeah. Then everything after that's been like whatever.
I think the last good album, not Down to Earth, I'm gonna bump it up one album. Osmosis was the last good Ozzy solo album. After that, that's where I say shit starts to hit the fan.
Right.
Because you have Down to Earth. Bark at the Moon is your favorite Ozzy song. That's a good. The title track is good.
Oh hell! Got an old friend of mine here in the chat, man. Dave Martell, welcome to the stream, my man.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to do a stream together sometime. I mean, right now, me and Metal Deuce Mike are just talking about some old metal here. AC/DC, Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Dio.
Yeah, speaking, my favorite Ozzy solo song of all time.
Favorite Ozzy song of all time?
Solo-wise, not Sabbath-wise. We're talking solo career. It's got to be Over the Mountain. Right now, that's the one that's in my head, and it's just a good song.
That is a killer track. Such a killer riff, too.
But then again, Sato, that's in my top 3.
That's another cool track, too. Oh, man. My favorite Ozzy track. Oh, jeez.
Fire in the sky. Can't you see
Pretty
castle
that's an underrated track, too.
That album's underrated. Oh, Dave Martell wants to join.
All right. going to let Dave in for a minute. It's been a while since I've chatted with Dave, actually. So I'll
I had to stand up for a sec.
definitely set the link here. Messenger.
Now, if we're talking worst ever Ozzy solo song, anything off of Ordinary Man. Oh yeah, Mr. Crowley is a dark song. Speaking, that is a dark Ozzy song.
See, I think Mr. Crowley might be my favorite Ozzy track.
Crazy Train. That's one that's
It's really debatable. I mean,
it's a song you can get burnt out on. I still consider Paranoid over Crazy Train, and I'm still burnt out on Paranoid. But
right. Yeah, I mean, Crazy Train still has a very iconic riff.
yeah,
However, it's a track I can't really listen to much anymore. Holy cow! I have not seen Dominic Matheson in a long time. What's up, man? King's X, yeah, they're a really underrated band. Yeah, King's X has a very unique style. I don't know if you've ever heard of King's X.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, Faith, Hope, and Love, great albums. Dogman, another great King's X album. It's a band that should have been big, but didn't quite. I mean, they never made it to that stature.
God damn, I have a tough thought. Worst Ozzy song ever. It's a Raid by Post Malone. I'm sorry. That's the worst Ozzy song ever. I throw my hands up and say that.
Which one is it?
It's a Raid with Ozzy and Post Malone. That song.
Oh, dude, that song's terrible. That whole album's terrible. I don't even have to talk about Ordinary Man much. It's such a bad album.
I mean, I was going to call the album Ordinary Bitch, but...
Dedicated to Sharon Osbourne.
Oh, God. I mean...
All right. Well, we're going to invite an old friend here to the stream.
Mr. Ben, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you fine, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Bob. I'm doing good. Look at you streaming on the old YouTubes over here.
Right on, man. So, what have you been up to, man? It's been a long time.
Oh, man, doing my thing, podcasting.
Right.
Yeah, I got my channel over there. I got a bunch of projects that I work on. I'm coming out with a pulp fiction compilation of short stories from amateur authors coming out very soon. That's called The Bizarre Archives. I actually have my own metal stream that I do every once in a while called The Bone House, where I play. Oh, yeah. Yep, I play heavy metal relics, obscure relics from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Oh, gonna have to check that out.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of fun. I got a lot, because I started out, I did a lot of political content, and now I do a lot of content for my faith community and stuff like that. So a lot of folks that listen to me aren't necessarily metalheads. There's obviously, we're everywhere, but what's really cool about doing the Bone House is I'm bringing these bands. A lot of them are like really, really obscure, like bands that I had to dig up. I call it heavy metal archaeology, and I dig these relics out, like it. and I play it for these folks that might have only heard one Dio song or something like that, and they're like getting into it too. They're like sending me like, "Yo, check this band out. Did you hear about these guys? Man, I just found them." And more times than not, it's something like. Like one guy's like, "Yo, you ever hear this band?" And it was like the Scorpions. I was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of them before." But sometimes these guys are sending me some really, really cool stuff from back in the day that like bands that maybe are from overseas or just had like one album in freaking 1987 or something. And
definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love doing the Bone House. I love doing my show, The Bog. I love, I'm just doing my thing, man.
Cool, man.
Cheers.
I mean,
Drink.
yeah, man. There's so much obscure stuff out there to talk about. You never run out of stuff to talk about.
Cheers.
Yeah, salud. I heard you guys were talking about Ozzy. Now,
Yeah.
I really liked Ozzy when I was a kid. The Diary of a Madman, Blizzard of Oz, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really an Ozzy guy later in life. I can't, like, when I listen to Sabbath, it's always Dio. I'm not a big Ozzy guy. I'm not a big Zakk Wylde fan. So you guys are probably going to say that I'm gay, but my favorite Ozzy album right now is 34-Year-Old Dave is Ultimate Sin.
I think it's a great album too.
Everybody hates that album. Jakey Lee's riffs, his leads, it's like there's so many bangers on it. It's a great album. I don't care what anybody says. Right.
Killer of Giants.
Yeah,
Never.
Great album. Great album.
Lots of great tracks on that album.
Okay, just the album cover art.
It's bass, Bud's lit. I love it.
Right.
But I am a Dio guy. I'm a Dio guy through and through. He's my favorite vocalist of all time. For me, it's like, obviously you got Dio. Most people would say Dio, Dickinson, and Halford, right? And obviously Halford's way up there for me. But I would say I like Dio, and my other two big vocalists, I like Jeff Tate, and I like Michael Kiske from Halloween.
Yes, definitely. Did you hear the new Halloween yet?
I have not. I have not heard any new Halloween.
It's good. It's got Michael Kiske back in the band.
It's excellent. Does he still sound good? He's got to be like 100 years old now.
He sounds amazing.
Really?
You definitely got to check out the new album.
Yeah, that sounds good.
If you like Keeper of the Seven Keys, you'll like it.
Yeah, that's like one of the best. That song in itself is an absolute masterpiece. One of the greatest masterpieces ever to be written in any genre of music ever throughout time.
I agree. It's genius.
Genius.
It's absolute art.
Yeah, just like, and I'm so ADD, bro. I do not like long ass compositions. Like, if I see your song is 8 minutes or longer, I'm probably gonna skip it. This song, Keeper of the Seven Keys, it's just the whole thing is just like a freaking. It's just a masterpiece, bro. Like, it starts out with the sweet acoustic riff and then gets heavier. Michael Kiske, his vocals, it's the whole thing is just, it's like a piece of art, man. It's like some Wagner tier shit. It's great.
Oh, I agree. It's absolutely amazing. The structure in that song,
Just brilliant.
You have acoustics. You got the speed. You got just standard heavy metal. You got everything in that track.
So since we're talking about more obscure bands, what do you guys say? If you could give me 3 classic obscure metal bands.
Nile.
What's that?
Nile. Nile. Right?
Oh, yeah, I know Nile. Yeah, I actually met, what's his name? The chubby blonde guy that plays guitar for Carl Sanders. I actually met him.
Carl Sanders, yep.
Yeah, he's like, I think Carl Sanders has like autism or something. He's like when I met him, he was like real sweaty and awkward. It's like,
I have autism. Just saying.
Yeah, it was like there's something, but guy's brilliant. That's probably autism probably makes him such a brilliant guitar player. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
Another band to check out. It's an Australian pub band from 1973 to 75. It is called Buster Brown. They released only one studio album. But the original drummer from AC/DC, Phil Rudd, before he joined AC/DC, was in that band on that album. Check it out.
And what about you, Ben? Give me 3 obscure classic heavy metal bands that folks might not have heard of.
Oh, geez. How about, let me think here. There's so many. Now, Angel Witch is way too obvious.
No, that's a good one. Angel Witch isn't that popular. Like, that's
Right.
something folks might not hear about.
Angel Witch, I'm going to say.
I think I showed you a bit of Spartanat at one point.
I knew you were talking about them.
Yeah. Not too many people know about Venom.
Now, a lot of people actually know about Venom.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Pretty
yeah,
influential.
Venom is like black metal AC/DC. Everybody knows Venom.
Yeah. How about the band Satan?
With the I in it?
No. Satan. Probably pronouncing it wrong.
I've never heard them. What are they like?
They're definitely new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh, okay.
Their album Cruel Magic's really good.
Hey Ben, Speed King gave out an idea in the chat.
So here we go. Let me give you three of mine here. Three of mine. So, off the top of my head, one of my absolute favorite obscure metal bands from the 80s that just gets no love and it drives me insane. Is a band, I believe they're from the East Coast here somewhere. They featured, you guys, people that are in the deep lore of heavy metal might know this name. The singer for this band, his name is Bobby Leather Lungs Lucas, and his first band was called Morbid Sin, and they have a really great. I believe they did like 2 EPs and like a live album, and like that's all they ever did.
I'll have to check that out.
But
nice.
their first EP was called Cauldron of Souls. Now, for folks out there that might be wondering what Morbid Sin sounds like, Morbid Sin would be, I would say they sound like early Exodus with like the vocals of like early Rob Halford. It is it's really great stuff. He's got the piercing high screams, the kind of overkill style of thrash singing, and then they got like the shifts of time, the good chunky riffs. It's an incredible album, Cauldron of Souls. And this guy, Leather Lungs Lucas, this guy is like, he is the vocalist that time forgot. The guy is unbelievable. So check out Morbid Sin, Cauldron of Souls. My favorite song on that album is called Twisted Souls in Hell. It fucking rules. So number 2 for me, this is tough for an obscure. It's probably not one of my favorite bands, but I think it's a band that folks should really know about. And this is a band called Manila Road. Are you guys familiar with Manila Road?
Yes.
Manila Road was a really cool band, and I'll tell you guys why, folks in the audience that might be listening. Manila Road started in like the 70s with this guy. I think he was from either New Jersey or Delaware. He's from like the tri-state area from up here where we're at. And his name was Mark the Shark Shelton. I believe he was just like Ben, I think he was like a janitor or something at like a middle school. He had just this like jerk off job. And he started this project with one of his coworkers that was a bass player called Manila Road, and they started in the 70s. And a lot of their song lyrics, if you're like a nerd like me and you love Pulp Fiction, he was throwing in stuff like from Conan the Barbarian and H.P. Lovecraft and like all of this kind of stuff. And like his album that people know the best is called Crystal Logic, and I believe it came out in 1982 or something like that. And Manila Road was a band that influenced so many people that nobody ever heard of. They like really brought in like fast guitar riffs. They had a lot of like the kind of melodies that you hear in bands like Iron Maiden and stuff later on, like the new wave guys. Right. And they were just incredible. They were the recording, they released like a gazillion albums. They have so much music out there, and not all of it's good. Some of it, the recording is pretty terrible. Mark the Shark Shelton, he, despite being this kind of like underdog with this kind of raw talent, his voice is an acquired taste. He's got this very shrill vibrato and everything like that. But the content and the creativity and the story and just the presence and influence of Manila Road, they are a piece of history that people need to know about. And unfortunately, Mr. Mark the Shark Shelton recently passed away a few years ago, or maybe it was like this year, last year. Pretty recently, he passed away. It's starting to get hard to keep track of all these guys, falling off. Right. But Manila Road, very, very cool. Number 3, okay, so here's a cool one. I'm really big. I just mentioned Pulp Fiction. I'm a really big fan of sci-fi, science fiction. I can't get enough of this stuff. The old school stuff. I really, really love it. I read sci-fi stories from, we're talking Amazing Stories and Weird Tale magazine that came out in like in the 1920s and 30s. I love that kind of stuff. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So I'm a sucker for anything that has this reoccurring theme of sci-fi. So my number 3 that I think folks should check out, that is a really obscure band. I'm not even sure if they had other albums. I think they're from Germany. They're called Scanner. It's a band called Scanner, and their album is called Hypertrace, and the whole entire album is sci-fi shit. Like getting cybernetics hooked up, traveling across the universe. And my favorite tune on this album is called Across the Universe. It's so catchy. It's got that cliche 80s, like the chugging kind of riffs. It's so badass. They're just a great band. Check them out. They're really cool. And now that I'm on a roll talking about it, you guys, if you like space rock and stuff like that, another band that's sort of adjacent to Scanner is a band called Quartz. Ben, have you ever heard of Quartz?
Yes, I have, actually.
Yeah, dude, Quartz is cool. They're not really metal. They're sort of space rock. But they have an album called Against All Odds that came out in 1983. It was like the middle of their career. They started out with like kind of just 70s basic bitch like boomer stuff, and then they started getting kind of more creative towards the middle of their career. And this is the time that metal really started taking over, and new wave of British heavy metal and stuff like that started kind of going the way of the dinosaurs. Bands like Praying Mantis and Witchfinder and so on and so forth. They didn't get the same kind of love that they used to. You had your big names that survived, like your Iron Maidens and your Judas Priests and your Saxons and stuff like that. But a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal was just kind of antiquated when stacked up against the big dogs like Testament and Slayer and Exodus and Creator and all of these, Metal Church, Overkill, Death Angel, and like all these kind of Anthrax, obviously. But Quartz, that album Against All Odds, is such a cool, catchy space rock album. I highly, highly suggest it.
Gonna have to check that album out.
Hey Dominic, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What was your first AC/DC album you purchased?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, my name's Dave. But no, it's all good.
That's Dave.
It's a D word. That's why I was like waiting for Dominic to talk. I was like, where the fuck's Dominic at? But you said AC/DC, my first AC/DC album. I'm not sure about album, but obviously very early on, I listened to Bon Scott AC/DC. It's a long way to the top if you're gonna rock and roll, like that kind of shit. That's like the AC/DC that comes to my mind. I didn't get into the later Brian Johnson stuff. Back in Black, I didn't get into that stuff. I like the earlier stuff. But even now, like AC/DC for me is a little bit, I'm just,
The new album's really good.
Is it really?
It really is good. It's a return to form.
That's pretty crazy because those guys are like centuries old.
Oh, even though Brian Johnson is late 70s, his voice with the ear plants he sounds a lot better.
Really?
Than he did previously.
That's wild.
He's not forcing it out of his throat.
Nah.
Chat here. But anyways, yeah, there was a lot of great new wave of British heavy metal bands too.
There was.
Tigers of Pantang.
Yup.
Quartz, like you said. Savage.
Yep.
Diamond Head, obviously.
Diamond Head, yup.
Yep.
Lots of good
So
ones.
many.
Yeah, I already said
Praying Mantis.
Praying Mantis. I love Praying Mantis.
Excellent stuff.
Their one album, obviously it's got the Praying Mantis on it, but it's kind of like in this weird vintage sci-fi artwork stuff, and it's like Children of Mars or something like that. That album fucking rules, bro. That is a cool album. And what was really cool about Praying Mantis is they were kind of like a progressive rock band too. You know what I mean? They had a lot of they had a lot of like timing changes, and you could tell those guys knew what they were doing. Like it wasn't just like as much as I love Saxon is just like it's straightforward. They're not messing around. There's nothing really. Yeah, I hate to say it like this because I do love the band, but there's nothing really that special about what Saxon is doing. It's you got your straightforward riffs. It's just standard blues rock formula for their music. But Praying Mantis, on the other hand, they had timing changes and different modes and stuff. They're great songwriters.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Love Praying Mantis.
Let's see, Tank.
Tank, yup.
Which I think now there's two versions of Tank. I know they're still around, but there's two versions of them. I'd have to read more into it to see what's going on there. You have, oh geez, so many. Well, you got Sweet Savage. I'm trying to think.
There's just so many.
Yeah, there's tons.
Tons. But
Then you go to Belgium. There's a band called Killer from Belgium that put out a bunch of like really good stuff that's influenced by the new wave of British heavy metal.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Iron Maiden before their first album with Diano? Didn't they originally were playing stuff before the first album? And they were putting band members in and out.
Yeah, Skunk Works.
Before Diano.
What they called Skunk Works or something like that, or was that Bruce Dickinson?
Oh, that's Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
I
watched the Iron Maiden documentary, and it was either Steve Harris or someone saying there were people before Diano and
there were.
Men.
Well, the original vocalist of Iron Maiden was Paul Day.
Yeah, Paul Diano. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different members of Maiden before Maiden put out their first album.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wonder what they would have sounded like before that first album. If you were to go back,
it's hard to tell.
Here's a guy that Ben actually introduced me to him years ago, and I listened to his band, but I didn't know he had a solo career, and I've been listening to him ever since. Udo Dirkschneider.
Oh yeah,
Ben is an
Udo. I think I remember telling you about him years ago doing solo albums. It was a long time ago.
I'm not gonna say because we're on the internet.
Hey, I'm gonna get going, Ben. So.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Thanks
for dropping by, man.
So, Ben, I don't know if you remember. I'm not going to say the bar that we used to go to because I don't want to give away where we used to hang out. But we one night we went to the bar and we got so drunk. We got wasted, and we went back
Right.
to, I think it was your mom's apartment or something. We like, you let me crash out on like
Yeah.
you had like a spare room where you were like, you kept your guitars and everything. I crashed out in there, and it like in the morning, like I was waiting for my ride to pick me up, and like my ride bailed or whatever, so I was like stuck at your place for like, yeah, way too long. And we're going through and you're showing me CDs, and you had like all of your collection was just like insane of CDs and everything. And you're like, show me.
It's a
and I
lot
was like,
bigger now.
I was like, what is UDO? And you're like, that's Udo. I was like, what the fuck is Udo? You're like, it's the singer from Accept.
Right.
And then you're like, you recommended, was it Metal Heart? I believe you recommended to me. And I've been jamming, or was it Animal House?
It might have been Animal House.
Animal House. It was
so
Animal
long
House.
now.
Yeah, dude, we're talking ancient history now. What was that?
Pretty much.
15 years ago, something like that. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
When I first moved up here.
Yeah. It's when you first moved up here.
Definitely a long time ago.
Yeah, long ass time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I after that I started listening to Udo, and I'll tell you what, to this day I jam Udo since that day you showed me. And
nice. A lot of great albums.
A lot of great albums. Of great albums. And a lot of songs that you didn't know were him. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
I like, you know, I had a phase where I was really into like independent films and stuff like that. I don't know why.
Okay.
Like, I don't really like, but in there's a lot of films that would use his song. How's it go? They are blind and they don't fight. They want war. That song is like in so many. Yeah, that song is in so many independent films from the 80s and like or whatever. I didn't even know that was him. So when I heard the song, I was like, that's insane. So Udo is the man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how I discovered Udio, like his solo stuff. I probably told the story way back then too. Well, me and my one of my old buddies back when I used to live in Somerset, right? We used to go to a bunch of random record stores back. Oh, Jesus. This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, back, you know, when you had Camelot Records and all that. So he picked up an Udo album. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait. On the front it says lead singer of a Sept solo album. I'm like, huh. At the time, I didn't know about it. And he put it on. I'm like, man, this fucking kicks ass. It still kind of sounds like a Sept, you know?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I got into Udio. This would have been, like I said, around 99, 2000. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, he was great, man.
Yeah. That's how I discovered. I mean, I knew who a Sept was, obviously, but yeah, that's how I pretty much found out about Udo, you know.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's great.
Right.
But there's just so many. I love the old school stuff, and I don't know if you've been keeping track, but are you keeping track of this movement? It's called the new wave of traditional heavy metal.
I have been keeping track of it, actually.
Bands like Midnight Priest.
A lot of good bands coming out, too.
Visigoth. You ever hear that?
Yes. You got Haunt.
Haunt, yeah.
Ravage. Trying to think. There's a bunch.
Yeah, Riot
what's
City.
the one I did? Yeah. Oh, fuck, man. I'm trying to think of the one I just bought. I just showed it in a video, too. Should have been more prepared for this.
That's all good.
Oh, cripe. Damn it, now I can't think of it. I'll think of it when the stream ends.
Yeah,
but there's bands like Night Demon, Striker from Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, there's just so many. Enforcer. Well, Enforcer's been out for a bit. But they're kind of a part of that new wave of British, or not new wave of British heavy metal, but new wave of traditional heavy metal thing.
Yeah. And then there's some bands that are like rising from the ashes. You ever hear of a band called Glacier?
Gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah,
I've seen it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
They just released an album. They're like old guys. They like had some albums in the '80s and then called it quits, and now they just popped up with this new movement. Well, one of the guys that's in my faith community, he has a solo project that he does like acoustic neo folk kind of stuff, but he's a metalhead.
Right.
Nice. He does logo work for a lot of these bands.
Oh yeah.
So like if you see Visigoth, if you see who else did he do? He's done like a bunch of them because he's like English, so he's over there in the mix with a lot of these English bands, and he's like he's kind of like a rock star in his own right. So it's like he's like showing me these bands that he knows personally and stuff, and they're all into this movement of bringing back that old school trad sound, and it's just so exciting for me, somebody that grew up with the kind of bands that we're talking about tonight.
Exactly.
The Dios and the Priests and all that kind of stuff. That was my shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely, man. Same here. I mean, that's what I grew up on.
What was your first metal album that like made you into a metalhead?
The first one that actually made, it's obviously Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Really?
Yeah. This is back in, that's the album that got me into thrash. I should say that. The first album, this is kind of weird, that might have got me into like traditional heavy metal.
I love weird. Let's hear it.
As weird as it sounds, it's probably Twisted Sister, Under the Blade.
Oh, hey, that album was popping back in the day, bud.
Right. Still a great album, too.
Yeah, that album was popping back in the day. Was that
right.
Now you're an older guy. You're a little bit older than me. Were you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 42 now.
So you were like around when these bands were like.
Oh yeah, man! I was around when the Grim Reapers, bands like Agent still were out. You had Metal Church, all that stuff.
Oh, Metal Church, dude! David Wayne, their first two albums.
Oh my God, yeah! You talk about greatness.
Yeah, absolutely. Those
then
two
you got bands like Armored Saint, League Lord.
Hell yeah. Attacker, you ever get into Attacker?
Oh, Attacker's good, yes. Very good band.
Hell yeah.
Very underrated.
Very, very underrated. They got a lot of great songs. They got a lot of... And, speaking of Attacker's new vocalist, he's not new. He's been around, they've been together for a few years now. But the vocalist that's with them now is actually... Bobby Leatherlung Lucas, the guy I was talking about from Morbid Sin, the first band that I named.
Right.
So their new stuff is really cool. Yeah. So he kind of like came. He was like kind of. I don't know if he was down and out or if he was just like, I'm not making any money with music, but he was just like doing like cover shows and stuff for a while. He still sounds excellent. I don't think he got into drugs or anything like that, but I just think he's like, this isn't paying the bills, or he wanted to. Maybe he had some kids or something, but he's back with this with Attacker, and they sound great, man. They sound really, really good. Now,
gonna
for me,
check into that.
My very first like memory of heavy metal was I was probably 5 or 6. I was like a little kid, and my grandfather got me one of them. Got me like a stereo for my birthday, and it was the one that had two like cassette decks on the front, and then it had the turntable on top. Remember them? You had to hook the speakers up and everything. Yeah. So he got me that, and my dad, who's a metalhead, he's kind of like a boomer metalhead. To him, like he was like his favorite, like some of his favorite bands were like Deep Purple and stuff like that, Foghat. But he also likes like Metallica and Megadeth and shit like that. But He said he's like he had a huge collection that he kept since he was a kid. Vinyls, cassettes, all that kind of stuff. Mostly vinyls. But he says, anything I have doubles of, you can have one. And he let me go through his collection and find anything that he had doubles so I could have one. And I picked out, obviously, he had like multiple copies of Machine Head. I got Deep Purple Machine Head. I got I got some other stuff. I just picked out stuff I thought the art was cool. I was like 6, you know what I mean? So I got like ZZ Top. I got what else did I get? Like Molly Hatchet. I got some Molly Hatchet out because Molly Hatchet back then, actually their album art for like Flirting with Disaster and all that was actually done by Frank Frazetta, who is the artist that did the very well known renditions of Conan the Barbarian. So it's that right. And so they like Conan art. I thought that was cool as a kid.
Oh yeah, they always had cool artwork. What
caught my eye, and I got one of them was Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny.
Ooh, classic. And then I got a few albums from Black Sabbath, and that was Black Sabbath self-titled, Black Sabbath Paranoid, Black Sabbath Mob Rule, and Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell. And I put Black Sabbath, the self-titled, on the record player. I might have listened to other songs or other bands before this, but this is the one that sticks in my memory the most. The first track on that album is the self-titled song, Black Sabbath. And when I heard that fucking bell and the tritones and the diminished chords and just it was like sent chills through my whole body. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Yep.
What is this that stands before me? And it's just like, that just changed my life. And ever since then, I've just had this hunger for like all kinds of, and I had a fate, like you know me. For a while, I was like really big into the most brutal shit. Like I couldn't get enough.
Oh yeah,
Dying Fetus. Yeah. You know, your boy said Nile. I was in the Nile. I still like this stuff, yo. Fucking Carcass, Death, Decapitated, all this kind of shit. And I got into melodic stuff, At the Gates, stuff like that. Carcass, yeah, that's the Swedish stuff is cool, but I've always just loved these old bands, man. Lately I've been on a Candlemass kick. I can't get enough Candlemass.
Freaking Candlemass is killer, man.
What's your favorite Candlemass?
Oh, geez, that's hard. Oh man, so many good albums. I'm gonna have to say probably. Oh, geez. Probably Nightfall.
Really? Oh, dude, Nightfall's incredible.
I like Nightfall. I like the first one, Epicus Doomus.
Epicus Doomus, Metallicus. Well, you can't fuck with that, dude. You know what I mean? You got Satan's Gate on there. You got Solitude on there. Sorcerer's Pledge. That whole album rules.
Yep. The newest album they put out back in 2019 is really good too, and it's got the original vocalist back on it.
I heard a couple songs from that album, but I have not really gone all in because I'm a little bit because I like their first vocalist, but their second vocalist, Messiah Marcolin, is my dude.
Yes.
He's
freaking amazing.
He is the father of doom. You know
you got that right. Yep.
So it's just like he's just the fucking man. So
it's like he had the coolest presence too, dressing up like a preacher or whatever.
Yeah, like the fucking monk outfit so cool. With the rope cord belt and all that. Was so cool. It was so cool. Excellent. But yeah, you had Ancient Dreams was great. You said Nightfall. They had so many great albums, and even their album that came out in 2008 that was self-titled that had songs like the Black Dwarf. It had Witches. It had so many. That album rules. Yeah, that's like really overlooked.
Yeah, just an amazing band.
Excellent band. Excellent band.
I mean, you got bands like Saint Vitus.
Saint Vitus, yeah.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Cathedral. You ever heard
oh yeah. Another
Cathedral?
great band.
Yep. Another good
What's
doom
that?
metal band. Black Pyramid.
Black Pyramid's good.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Got Black Pyramid.
They might be a little bit newer, but and another newer black doom metal band that I like, Capricorn. Capricorn is good.
I'll have to check them out. I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, they're kind of obscure, but they're kicking around.
Then there's Solitude Eternus.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good metal
they're
band.
pretty good. Yeah, you have I guess they're sort of a little bit what are they called? Something Magi. What the fuck are they called?
I forget too. It's something in that category though.
A lot of great bands. I love. I don't really get into the really. I don't get into sleep or like too much of the stoner stuff or what they call drone metal with the.
Oh yeah, that's a little too slow.
It's fucking. There's like a band called Sun, and it's got like a bunch of parentheses behind it. That I can't listen to them at all. That's terrible.
Well, I heard. Well, speaking of Sun, I heard when they play live, the audience just stands there, like there's no movement. It's like that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me if you're playing metal.
Yeah, it's like a fucking Opeth concert.
Yeah, it's like no.
Nah,
It's like it's like if I go to a metal show, I want to fucking move around and headbang and have fun. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I want to get a little wild. I want to drink some beers and get wild and have fun.
Right.
I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to
exactly.
stand there where they just like ring out the same chord for 5 minutes. That's so boring.
Right. Or with some of these bands, it's like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you ain't lying. It's like what was that Dope Throne or whatever? Dope Throne, they might be called. They're like fucking so boring. They're just like that.
Right. Music like that. No, it's just too repetitive, way too slow. Nothing to it really.
It's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's garbage. It's like the mumble rap of metal.
Pretty much. Oh, he's talking about Budgie. Yeah, Budgie's a very underrated band. I'm just reading the chat comments here. Yeah, Budgie is another band from the 70s that they were kind of different. They had like a really heavy sound, but they kind of had like a psychedelic sound too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to get into some of that stuff. Like I mentioned Quartz, and you ever hear of Hollis?
No, I haven't heard that.
Or Hollis, I might be pronouncing it wrong. They're from Denmark. They're like a psychedelic space rock band. Dude, they're fucking great, dude. They have like a lot of weird synths and stuff mixed in there. A lot of clean guitar and stuff like that. They sing songs about going out into space and stuff like. Check out their like hit song is called Star Rider. So it's
check that out.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have guys out there like if you guys like to toke on the jazz cabbage, smoke a little weed or whatever. I'm not into that, but if you're into that, that's the kind of band.
I don't smoke weed at all.
Yeah, if I smoked weed, I would be listening to that. It is so chill. It is such chill music.
Right. I'll have to check that out. How about Lucifer's Friend?
No, I never heard that.
Oh, they're good. Definitely check out Lucifer's Friend if you like. If you're into, I would say if you're into Uriah Heep or anything like that, you might like Lucifer's Friend.
I do like Uriah Heep.
Oh, I love Uriah Heep. I got almost all their albums.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Yep.
Let me
they're kind of like that. And the one vocalist actually went on to do some vocals for Uriah Heep, John Lawton, on like the later Uriah Heep albums from the 70s. So definitely something to check out.
That's really good stuff. You ever get into like what about Sacred Right? You ever hear of them?
Oh yeah, Sacred Right's freaking amazing. I've been listening to that
Right.
since the 80s.
Mom, you're like the only person I've ever mentioned Sacred Right to. They're like, oh yeah, I know all about them. Nobody's ever heard of Sacred Right.
Yeah, I first heard them back in, it must have been 89. I was only 10 years old.
Yeah, they're.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was quite young when I heard a lot of that thrash. Testament. I first heard Testament back when Practice When You Preach came out, or Practice What You Preach. Excuse me, there came out way back in '89. Exodus, Fabulous Disaster. Yeah. But you still there, Dave?
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know if something happened with my mic there. You ever hear of like a Fifth Angel?
Actually, I have heard that name before.
Yeah, they were a really good band. Here's one, Legend. You ever hear of Legend? They're from the late 70s.
You know what? It's kind of weird when you were talking about like the obscure stuff earlier. I was thinking in the back of my mind about Legend. So yes, Legend I have heard of. Definitely ahead of its time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They defined a whole genre.
Pretty much.
Genre.
Yep.
Here's another good one. What about Agent Steel?
Oh, Agent Steel's freaking awesome.
Another band that's in that same genre, Riot.
Ooh, love Riot.
Thunder Steel.
Rock City. Thunder Steel. Fire Down Below. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome. I love all
Classic
that shit.
Stuff.
Classics. Damn. All right, Mr. Ben. Well, it's 1 a.m. here, and I gotta get back to bed. I just wanted to hop on chat with you. But
Hey, man, it's cool chatting again, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's team up for an episode of Bonehouse. What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm up for it.
Are you still in the area?
I'm living in Lebanon now. So
you shouldn't say that on the internet, but it's all good. That's
I'm not too far away though.
Yeah,
you still nearby in the area?
Yep, I'm not in Lebanon, but I am in the vicinity. So, yeah, maybe we could set up and sit down, in person and set up a studio and drink some beers and talk some metal and play some songs for the folks. What do you think?
Let's do it, man. I'm up for it.
Hell yeah.
It's been a long time, man.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yep.
I got to get some shit squared away. I got a busy few weeks coming up. After that, we'll get together and we'll set something up and we'll do an episode of Bonehouse together and stuff like that. You got to keep doing those metal reviews. I watch a lot of your metal reviews. You got to, you got to keep grinding on that. Keep going. You should reach out to like Razor Fist or something like that. Try to get his attention and see if he'll give you a shout. All he's got to do is just tweet you and you'll get like 1,000 fucking subs.
Right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not going to quit doing this. It's all about metal, man, and the music.
It's all about music. It's all about the music. And it's like, when you're doing like, it's like, I do a lot of streams. We do a lot of streams. It's like we talk about like tabletop gaming and we were talking about Pulp Fiction earlier, talking about Pulp Fiction or whatever. And that's not stuff that really has mainstream appeal anymore. Just like a lot of this really obscure. So it's like, my usual audience doesn't tune in. I mean, I might have, 20 people listening or something like that. So it's like, but you know what? Those 20 people listening, they tune in every single time. So it's
fucking
like,
right, man.
I do it for them, and I'm not really doing it just for them. I'm doing it for me because it's something that I want to talk about, something that I want to do. I don't want to just do podcasts talking about politics and theology and shit all the time. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Hell yeah, man. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And the dedicated audience is the one that sticks with you.
Yeah, exactly. My show, The Bog, isn't that big, but the people that watch it every week. They never miss it.
Right.
They never miss it. So it's like,
I mean, I've watched a few episodes already.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
definitely
you watched
good
The Bog?
stuff that you're doing. Oh yeah.
Dan, do you remember what episode you tuned in on?
Oh geez, that I don't have much memory of, unfortunately.
And also we get into some pretty deep shit sometimes. You know what I mean? It's not really, if you're not somebody that's not all the time, but if you're not somebody that's like into the stuff that we're talking about, it's not really entry level stuff. So it's like it's hard to get into for some people. You know what I mean? Not that it's inaccessible for everybody, but it's like, it's like when we do a show, we talk about some passages from Tacitus Germania or something like. If you've never read Tacitus Germania, if you don't even know who Tacitus was, you're gonna be walking in like, what the fuck are you nerds talking about? You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's all good. It's all good. But
it's cool to learn about, though.
Yeah, it's really great, and what's really cool about it is there's a lot of folks that didn't know about it before the Bog that are now like becoming experts themselves on it. They're like correcting me. It's like, I had a guy on the show recently. He's like, no, what you mean is this. And I'm like, listen here, jerk off. Like 4 months ago, you had no idea what you were talking about. And now you're a fucking expert. How about you get off my balls? How about that? You know what I mean?
Right on.
Yeah, but it's totally cool, though. Yeah. It's cool. It's also very meaningful for people, too, which is, when I was doing the political stuff, dude, it rots your soul out. It really, truly does.
You know what? I agree. Because I used to get really into it, too, and it just brings out a hateful person in you.
It's hard not to become that way.
If that's the word I'm looking for, it brings out a really hateful, angry person in you when you go into that political realm. Because I was there, too. I used to really get into that stuff.
Yeah. I know you were. I know you.
I totally backed off from it now. It's like whatever now. I'd rather focus on just living life and talking about metal.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I still pay attention to what's going on. You got to at least have an awareness of what goes on in the world. But
I still do it too.
Yeah, the days of me doing like deep rabbit holes and looking through government documents and writing up articles and like all that stuff, man, it was getting crazy. I don't know if you remember when I was doing Mad American Network. Do you remember that?
I do remember it. Yeah.
It started getting pretty crazy. There was black cars following my wife around when she would go to the store. It was like somebody was like taking pictures of me in front of my house. Like it was like,
what?
Yeah, the my website got loaded with malicious code, which came from a government source. Man. Like it was fucked up, dude. I'm telling you, it started getting pretty bad, and I was just like, you know what? It's not worth it. It ain't worth it. I chalked it up to, you know what? I showed this information to thousands of people that can't unsee it now. I spread the truth. Yeah. Time to pass the torch.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the way I look at it is if people want to be ignorant to the truth, well, eventually they'll find out, due to karma or whatever.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Yuri Bezmenov?
I've heard that name before. I can't say I'm overly familiar with it.
Yeah, Yuri Bezmenov was a KGB agent that defected in lived in Canada for a while and came to America, and they wrote books and came out about communist stuff. And the communists, they call it ideological subversion. And they pretty much they rot countries from the inside out. Russia isn't in the business of doing this anymore, but this is something that like high level intelligence does now. But one quote that Yuri Bezmenov is famous for, and you can find it on YouTube, and it's actually a pretty chilling statement. He said that once we have our hooks into your country, once we get into your your education and academic and media structures, and the ideological subversion is at full working full force. The people that believe it, you will not be able to convince them otherwise. You can shower them with evidence, you can show them in real time, and they will not believe you even when the boot comes crashing down upon them.
Right. And it's truth.
It's true. He ain't lying.
Yeah, it's truth, man. It's scary shit, man.
But you know, one thing I learned, and this is, I'm not gonna get on talking about faith stuff on your thing, but there is solace in knowing that we have a fate, and that which is good will always win out in the end, and that which the universe has woven for us as our destiny will come to fruition. And everything, the way things are now, or the way that they're supposed to be, where we're going is where we're supposed to be. Everything that's happening right now is supposed to happen. So it's out of our hands. You might as well, obviously, if your number gets called and you got to do some hero shit, do some hero shit. But in the meantime, just speak truth. Pour your heart and soul into things that are good, that you love. Treat your friends well and your family right, and just be the best person that you can be, because good always wins in the end, even if it takes a long time.
Exactly.
Yep. The bad guys never win. It just never happens. They never win. They might be sitting on their thrones for a century or two, but when it comes time for them to fall off their thrones, it's never pretty for them.
Exactly.
And I think these guys that are sitting on the thrones now, their fall from grace is going to be quite the nasty landing. So, if I live to see that day, I hope I can, and I could stand there and laugh. But I probably won't, and that's okay.
Same here, man.
That's
I hope so too.
Because I can get up in the middle of the night and talk metal with old time buddies. I can get my folks together. We can fire up the grill and play games and just hang out with my kids. I got kids now. Yeah, I do. That's really cool, man. Yeah, I got 3 kids. 3 kids. Hey, man, that's always a good thing, man. Yeah. All right, Mr. Ben. Well, I'm waning now. Thank you for letting me come on and commandeer your show and run my motor mouth and stuff like that. No problem, man. You're always welcome back. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben. But I'm going to hop over here and get back to bed. Many blessings to you, sir, and we'll talk very soon, okay? Same to you. Thanks for coming on, dude. My pleasure. All right, man. And that's the show for tonight here on Metalben's pre-day 4th of July celebration. We had a good time tonight. Great show, and can end it here because we have been on for past 3 hours. And you know what we say around here? Keep it metal. Be a good human being. Treat others good. Until next time, keep it real.